Hello, everyone. Welcome to BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools on how to do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today we are talking tech with the BizChicks. I'm here with my friend and colleague, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and we're the BizChicks. We are sending love your way today, and we hope that you'll come on in, join the conversation as we talk about tech. And we always like to get started with something in the way of tech history. So, Fran, what do you have for us today?
Well, let's talk about, let's see. There's so many things in here. I'm not going to do the long one, but I think I'd like to start with Polaroid instant camera goes on sale. Can anybody guess when?
Uh, 1936.
November 28th, 1948.
Okay.
Just in time for Christmas shopping season, 57 units of the first commercial instant camera, the Polaroid Land Camera Model 95, go on sale at the Jordan Marsh department store in Boston, producing sepia tone photographs in about 1 minute. The Model 95 became a hit almost as quickly. Polaroid believed that 57 units would be enough to last through Christmas. All 57 units and all of the film available were sold on the first day. It was a simple to use and portable, and the instant gratification that came from the self-developing film made the camera very popular. The name Land came from the camera's inventor, Edwin H. Land, who was also the company's founder. Nearly 1 million Model 95s were produced, setting the stage for Polaroid's flagship product line, making the company name synonymous with instant film and the cameras that used them. True black and white film was released in 1950, but Polaroid didn't create color film until 1963. Polaroid produced their instant cameras until 2008.
You know what? And they also put some out in around 2021 because they came up with these little ones for kids, and
Yes.
they printed out the photos are the size of like when we used to go in the photo booths.
Yes.
Yeah, and I bought one for my granddaughter. That's how I know. And it would come out just like a regular Polaroid,
Mm-hmm.
and they had to wait for it to dry. It's the
Yeah,
same.
you had to.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I
Hmm.
think it's nice to have a little nostalgia, Um, and it was interesting that all of the things that were used for the original one had been so simplified now.
Mm-hmm. But they're a little more pricey.
Yeah, well, the older ones are probably pricey too, but for their time.
Mm-hmm.
So let's look at November 29th, 1972. Atari introduces their first product. Anybody guess what that is?
Was that the Pong?
You ding ding
'Cause we
ding.
had one. Oh my gosh, what year was that?
November 29th, 1972. It was, which would become the world's first commercially successful video game. This is the one that was in uh, like an arcade type, but they also had them for your,
For the house, because
for
we
the,
had
yeah, where you can play it on your TV or something.
something. It was playing on something.
Yeah.
I
The
don't know.
story the story goes that our Atari's founder Nolan Bushnell installed the game at Andy Capp's Tavern in Sunnyvale, California on this day. Soon they were called by the bar owner complaining that the game stopped working. Upon investigating the problem, they found that the game was jammed with quarters. At least that is the legend, but regardless, there were 10,000 machines installed within 4 months. The popularity of Pong sparked the beginning of the video game industry, with Atari being the leader in both arcade and home video gaming through the early 1980s.
Wow.
I couldn't remember Pong, and it was really kind of fun. It was basically ping pong
Ping pong.
on a computer.
That's all it was.
You had to be good, and you still had to have some strategy.
And it was very basic. You just had this one little ball that went over the line, and
Hmm.
it was almost like air hockey. But anyway,
It was fun though.
hmm I mean, we spent time, and people waited in line to play. We had one at the house, and it was exciting
Right.
because there was nothing else like it at the time.
Exactly. And new and shiny is always exciting.
Yes, it is.
November 30th, 2009, book retailer Barnes& Noble releases their first Nook e-reader to compete with the highly successful Amazon Kindle released 2 years earlier. While late to the game and competing not only against Amazon but Apple's iPad for e-reader market share, the Nook has competed well, likely due to Barnes& Noble's strength as one of the few remaining brick-and-mortar bookstores.
Wow. They just closed our Barnes and Nobles.
In the Thomas?
And the Thomas, a huge one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it's going to be a rack.
Are a staple this time of year.
Wow.
I know.
So the one over on Arden by the mall is still open, I think. Better check that before I say something.
Last time I checked, it was still there, but yeah.
Right, because I just drove by the mall not too long ago, and I was like, oh. Okay. They put a Crunch Fit over there where the movie theater used to be.
Oh. Okay. Things are changing.
And it has nothing to do with the people who are watching in other parts of the world. But
that's true. Sorry, we digress.
Project Gutenberg is launched December 1st, 1971. Michael Hart, founder of what is now known as Project Gutenberg, launches the project by making his first posting, the Declaration of Independence. Now known as the father of ebooks, earlier in the year, Hart had been given an operator's account on a mainframe at the University of Illinois, where he was a student. Having been given highly valuable computer time when few people had such opportunity, he decided to begin a project that would digitize and electronically preserve public domain books and text and make them freely available. The Xerox Sigma 5 mainframe at the Materials Research Lab at the University of Illinois just happened to be one of the first 15 nodes on the early ARPANET, the beginning of the modern internet. The ability for anyone connected to this network to download information was a major inspiration for Hart to begin Project Gutenberg. December 1st, 1996, America Online launches a new subscription plan offering their subscribers unlimited dial-up internet access for $19.95 a month.
Unlimited, girl.
But you know how high that was? Now, considering what we do now, that's considered extremely high. $19.95 a month, you can get a good Netflix account. Okay, anyway. Previously, AOL charged $9.95 a month for 5 hours of usage. I'll say that again. 5 hours. How much time do people on the internet now? Not more than 5 hours.
Yeah, I guess they considered that a bargain when they got that $19.95.
The new plan brought in over 1 million new subscribers to AOL within weeks, and daily usage doubled among subscribers to a whole 32 minutes a day. This huge increase in usage overloads AOL's infrastructure, with the result being that many of their subscribers could not access the server. Class action lawsuits were filed by angry subscribers who couldn't get on, and regardless of their trouble, by offering unlimited internet access for a reasonable fee, AOL helped facilitate increased adoption of internet usage among a public still becoming acclimated to the information superhighway.
Mm.
Business.com is is big business. December 1st, 1999, the domain name business.com sells for $7.5 million.
Wow.
At the time, it was the most expensive domain name sold in history and still ranks in the top 15 all-time most expensive domain names. Domain name investor Mark Ostrovsky had purchased the domain in the mid-90s for $150,000.
Wow. That is serious.
So in 2007, the company that owned business.com and created a ad network website around the domain sold for $345 million to Yellow Pages publisher R.H. Donnelly. Okay, that is just a lot of money. So it went up in value.
Yes, it did.
If only we had the foresight to buy it in the 90s, when we would have, Anyway, the author of this post says, if only he had the foresight in the 90s to buy up simple domain names when they were available, he was in the right position to do so, but just didn't think of doing it until years later when they had already been registered and started selling for crazy amounts of money.
Mm. Who'd have thunk it?
Mm.
Northpole.com.
Business.com.
Icecream.com.
All kind of stuff.com. And, and so if you come up with a good one and you need to go and get it while it's $23, well, not $23, by $10 or whatever it is, go get it. Don't let it ride. So we're going to talk about some tech that is making history. Mm-hmm. And this all has to do with communications. So the Federal Communications Commission has adopted a new set of rules aimed at providing privacy and financial support to people experiencing domestic violence who share a phone plan with their abuser, spotlighting often overlooked technology barriers for people trying to escape dangerous relationships and living situations. The agency's rules, unanimously adopted last week, will require phone carriers to separate survivors' lines within 2 business days of a request, waive fees associated with such requests, and block records of communication with the help hotlines. And block records of communication with help hotlines on account logs. It also creates a path for survivors to receive low-cost phone service through an FCC administrative program for a transitional period of up to 6 months.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought that was...
that's good stuff.
Yeah. And let's see. Fighting AI with AI. The scourge of robocalls flooding our phones has gotten scarier with the advent of voice spoofing and other tactics that can make it hard to tell if you're getting scammed in real time. But some technologists say AI can be used to defeat the very campaigns it's spawning. Oh. It's a matter of learning to think like a bad guy, says the CEO of spam blocking service Umail. Driving the conversation around the intersection of robocalls and artificial intelligence as the Federal Communications Commission inquiry opened on November 15 that seeks to understand how AI can aid or frustrate efforts to crack down on illegal and unwanted robocalls and robotexts. The FCC's move is preliminary. But it is noticed that the telecom industry is already employing AI in some sophisticated ways, like pattern recognition, to help discern and break spam cycles or understand when numbers are misbehaving. Mm-hmm. Carriers and platforms commonly feed algorithms information about calls that their customers receive to determine an individual's calls risk factor. Umail uses AI in another way to flag voice messages that could be linked to known scam.
Wow. That's really
Yeah,
amazing. I'm so happy.
right. And T-Mobile has Scam Likely will pop up on your, and
Yes.
I believe on the Android phones and most of the phones, but with T-Mobile, it pops up Scam Likely, or I have it set where I don't even see the Scam Likely. It just doesn't bring it to my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a good thing. And then my last little thing on tech that's making history. Let's see, not the Chat GPT. There was another story.
Good morning.
Oh, phone home. Massachusetts joined the ranks of the few states that have chosen to make phone calls from jails and prisons free of charge. Now, that should have been happening a long time ago, but a move that advocates and officials say dramatically increases incarcerated individuals' access to connectivity. As of Friday, inmates and their families will no longer be on the hook to pay the high per minute rates that private communication providers often charge as the sole contractor at secure facilities.
So they had a monopoly and they were charging rates. Okie dokie. High rates.
Very high rates. Instead, the state will pick up the tab for all voice calls, including those made from landlines and wireless tablets, according to the text of the law. It also prevents facilities from further restricting the number of calls that inmates can make and specifies that calls and video visits cannot be used to replace in-person visitation. Financial exploitation in our carceral, okay, why did they use a big word? In our systems has created barriers for families and their loved ones to stay connected for the sake of gains by the state and corporations. This is Michael Collins, Senior Director of State and Local Government Affairs at Color of Change, said in a statement. The passage of this legislation in Massachusetts set a national standard for human rights for incarcerated people, a standard we urge other states to follow. Wow. And that's your week in tech history and tech making history.
Wow, that's good. I'm really happy about that whole phone situation.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. Well, Fran, I've got a couple of stories here that I think are engaging. And let's start with this one around the holidays. Let's see if I can share my screen and find out. If that will happen. Okay. And let's get her queued up. Just some holiday tips to help you make the holiday just a little brighter and a little less stressful.
Are a staple this time of year, but it can
We can't hear her.
We can't?
I can hear the music, but not her.
Okay, hold on. Let me stop. Is that better?
Y'all just hear music still.
Interesting. Okay, hold on. Let me stop my mic.
It's still music, not her. You might need to start her over. Again, it's just music. I hear the Christmas music, but no, you're not on stage. But that doesn't mean anything.
All right, let me try something else.
Okay.
Just going to stop this presentation. Okay, let me come back in the StreamYard and we're going to try this different presentation and see if that works.
Our main aim is to just help as many people as possible. We hope that our app can go global one day and reach millions of people who are affected by dementia and just help make their lives somewhat easier. I'm Rachel, I'm 15. I'm Joy and I'm 17. I'm Margaret and I'm 17 years old. We found out that dementia is not just a huge problem in Ireland, but in fact globally. Our mentor's mother actually passed away due to dementia, so it just seemed right to do an app to help.
Mom was a very strong woman. She was a dedicated mother, and she was very funny. You know, people know her for that. She used to be a seamstress, so she used to teach people how to sew. But because of dementia, she was unable to even sew anymore. She discovered herself that no, this is something I'm supposed to know, but I don't know it anymore. That she was she was she was gradually going.
Our app has 6 main features: a health check, a photo wallet, a music playlist, reminder alerts, a reach out feature, and there's also a memory game feature which allows users to strengthen their cognitive ability in a fun way. The reach out feature, which is a platform that we created so the people living with dementia can contact their friends, families, caregivers, doctors, and emergency contacts. Well, the music playlist feature works in conjunction with our facial recognition feature, and it detects the mood of the user, so it plays playlists based on their mood. So if they were sad, it would play a playlist to brighten up their spirits. The most challenging part was definitely the coding, but after doing it for so long, so often, I got used to it. And also with COVID, it was really hard for us to meet up and to create the app together, so we had to go through WhatsApp, which was kind of difficult, but we made it work. Well, Activation is a competition that aims to get young girls like ourselves into STEM, and the main aim behind it is to get young girls to come up with solutions for social problems in the community. It's both a technology competition, but also an entrepreneurship program to encourage girls to not only get into STEM, but to also get into business subjects as well. I think the main aim for all of us, of what we had in mind when creating Memory Haven, even without knowing the amount of success that was going to come from it, is just to try and help as many families and individuals and communities as possible, because we know firsthand how tough it is to know somebody living with dementia. I also hope that this app will inspire other young people to get involved in tech and to realize the opportunities that we have to make a difference in our community. When the app is released, we just hope to reach as many people living with dementia as possible.
Okay, so I'm like, I thought that that was interesting. That first of all, they were Nigerian Irish. Okay. And the fact that they were involved in a tech group, Technovation, that helps young people get involved in using technology to solve problems in their communities. And they sought to use that opportunity to create an app to help people with dementia because someone in their community had a challenge with that. So I wanted to share that with you guys. And then I have a little thing from Problem Solved called How to Reduce Food Waste. And it's a short video, maybe a minute or two, talking about these three apps that are going to help us. Let's see if we can hear this one because we couldn't hear the first one. How you doing, TJ?
Hello.
I hope you had a great holiday. Good, good. All right, here we go. And let's see if we can get this up on here and make sure that it's turned up.
On your food waste? Well, it's probably easier than you think. Here are 3 ways to be a bit more food conscious. Check out the app Too Good To Go. They offer what they call surprise bags full of food from places nearby. You can find out more about what you're likely going to get in these bags by tapping on the restaurant. Rescue a surprise bag of beignets? Don't mind if I do. Olio is another app that lets you share with your community. But this app is more than just food. You can also share things like clothes, chargers, books, and so much more. Both of these apps require other people in your area to also be using them. So one might work better for you than the other. Imperfect Foods is a food delivery service that brings groceries to your door. The food is totally safe to eat, but just for some reason or another didn't make the cut of the grocery store. I think I'll have a beignet.
So here are some apps that help us. One will help us declutter by sharing things within our community, which I thought was fabulous. Because I'm always threatening to take something to, some charity, and it never makes it. Does someone will come and get it? and then I don't know about you. She said chargers. And the first thing I thought was a drawer full of.
Yeah, but chargers are such a fast changing something. Is like, yeah, the whole purpose of them chargers being in the drawer right now is because we don't use them anymore.
Somebody else who's got their old technology and can't find a cord.
Mhm.
I'm just saying it may take a minute to get it to the, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like,
all of this would take a minute, and it takes mindfulness, like imperfect fruit. We know about that,
right.
The app that allows us to rescue things from the store before they close, because they have to either put it in the trash. They don't have to even give it away. So
They
now
have a whole community thing here in New York City. I read a few years ago where they go dumpster diving because they're throwing out perfectly good food.
exactly
Because it's the law, because the New York City law, they have to. But the food is still good. So there's either charities that will come around and get it, or if they don't come and get it, like Starbucks and places, they will just put it in their garbage in bags, and it's already in a container. So they have a whole community of people around here that just go and get it out of the dumpster. But it's in a plastic bag and a plastic container and stuff. So it's not like they open it and dump it. It's all contained. So
Exactly.
and it's stuff that has like, okay, to sell by date, but it's still good, and legally the restaurant had to get rid of it. So
Correct. So that now they have a way to sell so that the what do you call it? The business is able to profit from that by simply putting online that they have these things
right,
at
come
a
and get
certain
them.
price at this hour. Come and get it.
Right,
Yeah.
come and get it now,
And
or it goes in the garbage.
yeah, you can buy it on the app and pick it up.
Right,
So
because
they don't have to,
right,
throw it
legally
away.
they have to get rid of it.
Exactly. So that app is really helpful to us and to the businesses. So I thought I'd share those few things.
That's cool.
And I hope that someone will benefit from that. I am really proud of these young ladies, these Nigerian Irish. I was like Nigerian Irish young ladies who got together and put together memory.
Yeah, in Ireland there's a big African, Nigerian, different countries community in Ireland. I was kind of surprised because there was a story that came out of maybe last month or 2 months ago about the little African girl that did not get a medal. in a
Oh,
gymnastics contest. This was like maybe a
oh,
month or two
I,
ago, and there was a
I
lot of
think
outrage. And
that,
Simone
yeah,
Biles, right? Simone
yeah,
Biles sent her a video because the lady that was giving out the medals and putting
right.
them on each
Her.
little girl who
Didn't they
competed
skip,
in the competition, she skipped over
they
the
skipped
African
her?
girl, which is the one, she was the one African in the sea of others. So
Yes.
there was a lot of outrage, and the person said that they didn't do that on purpose. But I was like, if you watch the video, judge for yourself. So, but after watching that, I found out that there's a lot of immigrants, Nigerian immigrants and stuff in
In that
Ireland. So,
community.
yeah, yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Hmm.
And I believe that they had been, they were born congenital twins. So
Mm-hmm.
just a lot going on.
Wow.
So that's what I have for you today. TJ,
Nice.
I'm passing the
Okay.
torch.
Okay. Let me get my notes up. Let me get ready for this last couple of days. Well, not last couple of days, like the last
Few
10
weeks.
days.
2 weeks,
I'm trying to
maybe?
remember when it happened because it was November 17th. And it just,
Oh,
but I'm
wow.
going to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So let me get my notes.
Okay.
Bring them up.
And so while
Okay.
she's getting her notes, we just want to say thank you for tuning in with us here on Biz Chicks and spending part of your holiday week with, well, going into the next part of the holiday with us. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, we're looking forward to 2024. We got some good things coming up. So if you're not a part of the Biz Chicks community, text Biz to 33777 and get in and become a part of the Biz Chicks community, or just simply go to bizchicks.net and join our family. It's fun over here. We always bring you
Yeah.
good information every week that can help you take the hassle out of your hustle. And
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
also a safe place where you can ask questions, get help, and that's why we're here. So we extend that
Yeah.
invitation to you.
All righty. Okay, so I'm ready. Let's do this social media news updates for the week. We're gonna start with Snapchat.
Okay.
Snapchat is testing a new ad-free subscription tier. So that's the thing with the apps. They, Meta, no, not Meta. X was first. Twitter, whatever you want to call them. They started with Twitter Blue, which was, I don't know, $5.99 a month. I can't even remember. It's been like over a year. I can't even
Mm-hmm.
remember like when did they start with their subscription. But they started it, and then Meta, Meta now has their subscription, they're testing, and
Mm-hmm.
they have the Meta Verified. So a lot of these apps are, trying, they have to have money. So the
Yes.
app has to have money. It's either advertising or membership subscription. So Meta's one that's doing both in the EU because of the EU privacy laws. But Snapchat is looking at testing a new, more expensive Snapchat Plus tier that will remove most ads from your in-app experience. So
Mm-hmm.
they're saying some Snap users are now being offered a higher price Snapchat Plus subscription tier, which removes all story and lens ads. Snapchat notes that subscribers may still see sponsored places as well as paid promotions within My AI responses. My AI is Snapchat's version of Chat GPT. So they are trying to get rid of the ads in the app for the low price of $15.99 AUD per month, which is equivalent to US $10.50. So they always test these things in New Zealand or Spain or one of the European countries. So they're saying for comparison, the current Snapchat Plus monthly patches cost US $3.99, which is about $5.99 AUD cost. So the option is not. This is not in America. This is them testing it in Europe because Europe has different laws, privacy laws, data privacy laws. And this is one of the ways that, and Meta has led the way with this, that Meta says, okay, we can't do this and that with ads in your country, so we're going to give you this version, but you have to pay for it. Which there's nothing in the law that in EU's privacy laws that provided for that, because they didn't see it coming, because everybody got used to it being free. So now people are mad going, why do we have to pay? Well, you have these laws that say, well, we can't do certain things with ads, but there was not a law that's saying that we could not provide a paid version as an option. That was not in the cards. Nobody saw this coming. And I mean nobody, I mean users.
Well,
Because we're,
yeah,
guys,
okay. Now, TJ, you need to take your honors, because you told us back when Facebook, when people were screaming, I don't have no looks, no likes, and blah blah blah, crying and doing all that. It's free, people, for a moment.
yes.
You
Yes.
told us it paid was coming.
I could feel that paid was coming, and people can get mad, and there's a whole discussion about it actually now about, and we talked about it, that Instagram doesn't show my posts, and I had a discussion with somebody on Threads last night about this, and I was posting because the person, actually, let me take a minute and bring it up real quick, because I was just like, the audacity of these people. Hold on. Here, yeah, let me bring it up. So it was a post about Instagram influencers complaining about and reach engagement. And then the person said there seems to be an expectation that because you have X number of followers, you deserve to expect a certain amount of reach and engagement. That's not a thing. It's not a thing. So that's not what social media is about. So somebody responded, well, that doesn't make sense. If 30,000 people choose to follow me, they want to see my content. Now, why not show it to them? And they're saying, why not show it to people who have taken, what they're saying is, I have 30,000 followers. When I post something on Instagram, all 30,000 should see it at once. So I'm responding to her like, that's not how it works. These apps cannot serve you all of the content that's being produced every second of every day. You know how much content it is? The use for the user experience on the app would be so dismal that you would not use the app. So I said, no social media platform can serve all the content to everyone at the same time. It is a user experience situation. It would lead to overload for the users and will cause them to leave the app. App do not want users to leave. They have to stay and be comfortable with using the app. No users equals no revenue. Think of it as a dim sum restaurant. They don't serve you everything at once. You would be overwhelmed and not have an enjoyable experience and not return. So that's what I was like. Think of it, if you've been to the old style dim sum, you sit at a table, you don't order. They bring out carts of food. And you say, well, I want that. And if you don't know the name of it, you could just point at it and they put it on your plate and you eat it. And then they come, and it's all little plates and not huge meals. And then they come out with another dish and you say, and you point and it, you don't have to speak Chinese. You just here. And then when you're done, they look at the plates, they tally it up, and then give you the bill and you go pay by the door and you leave. That's traditional dim sum. You don't order, you sit at a table, they bring you stuff one at a time. They don't overload you with a million things, because that's not a good dining experience. So I was trying to explain to this person that because you have 30,000 followers, you think that everybody should see your but what about the other millions of people, billions of people that use the app? So that's why an algorithm is there to determine how content is served to the people that follow you, and then they decide to serve it to other people who don't follow you. Okay.
Right, because if I'm following 2 or 3 people, and all of a sudden everybody starts serving up their stuff to me at one time,
oh my
that's
God,
like drinking from the fire hose.
Yeah, they can't do that. Twitter was like that in the beginning, and that was a complaint. So
It's like,
But
wait, you couldn't keep, because Twitter would pop up and there was stuff coming in. You're trying to read one article and something else is coming in, and you're like, wait.
we don't have enough time in the day besides what you're doing in your life, going to work, going to school, picking up kids, cooking, clean, whatever the thing that you have to do in your life. You don't, there's no way. So I was trying to explain this person because they're mad because, well, Instagram doesn't show my content to everyone. No, they have a subset of your users. Say you have 30K, they're going to show it to a little subset, maybe 1,000. I'm just making up a number. I'm not sure the number. And then they determine what goes next based on that 1,000 of your 30,000. If a majority like it, they go, oh, this is good content. Let's show it to the rest of your users. And then they test that. And then they say, well, this is good content. Let's show it to people who don't follow you. That's how it works. And if you fail the first test, Instagram goes, well, and it goes about its business and it goes to the next thing.
Oh, so is this
math.
so this means that your stuff needs to be good. Them cookies need to taste good going out.
Oh yeah. So think of it when you go to the grocery store, when you go to Costco, whoever, on a Saturday, and there's always these people with the chicken sausage or the this or the that, and they give you a little thing on a stick and they want you to taste it. If it tastes good, you go, I want to buy that. They have it right there for you to buy.
Food ambassadors.
Yes. And if you don't like it, what happens? You taste it and you go, oh yeah. Put your little toothpick in the garbage and I got some shopping to do.
Right. And then they rethink whether or not they're going to keep sharing that with other people.
Yeah.
Mark says, I like to think of my social media presence as the appetizer to the full meal that awaits you during the course of your day.
Sweet.
That's it. Think of it. Why are you on social? That's the key. That's the key. Why are you on social? People on, we've talked about this a lot. People on for different things. An influencer is on for one thing. A business owner is on for one thing. A casual person just want to, you're in the line waiting for something, or you're waiting for your kid to come out of right. You're just wasting time. Really. You're just like, okay, what's on Instagram? Or whatever app. Right. You're entertaining yourself. Right. So you have to know, well, what does my audience want from me? Oh, they like this. You give it to them. And if you give it to them, it's say you make a text only post like you can do on LinkedIn or Facebook, and you don't get a lot of traction, then next, try a photo. You don't get a lot of traction with a photo, then try a video, a short reel, a TikTok, something. That's why they have so many formats, because you have to decide what to say, how to say it, and in what format, and then you got to keep testing it. Right. And then you find out through analytics, which every platform has, that says, oh, your followers like reels, so you do more of that. Or your followers like photos with a little bit of caption, or a long caption, or a long blog post, you do more of that. Or they want text only, you do that.
Now, is this really any different than what we experienced with any other advertisers?
It's not different. It's business is business. And what we have is a lot of people getting on Instagram. I say this all the time. They think it's an ATM machine. Oh, I'm going to make a course. I'm going to make a ebook or whatever, and I'm going to sell it. And people are just going to buy this thing. And all I got to do is post something crappy and just put the link in the bio and say, go to the link in the bio and buy it. And then there's crickets, and then they get mad. But why is nobody buying? Why? Think about that.
The cookies don't taste good.
People are smart. Yes, people are smart. You think users are dumb? They're smart. Same thing with an ad on the TV. Same thing.
And I don't know that our tastes have really changed. We may change the way we like it delivered. We may want it to come to the door, but we still all shop. We may want to.
Yes, everybody shops. You're right, Darlene. And there's an audience. There's always buying. Even through the pandemic, people were buying. There was this big line, and nobody was. we still had to eat. We still had to dress outside. Well, some had to dress, some were at home, but there were things that you wanted. So when the pandemic happened, people wanted different things. They wanted to be entertained, like Carolina said. They want to learn this, or they took up baking, or they learned how to do bread, or they started cook. So they needed things to go with that. So different things were purchased during the pandemic. Now we're out of it. So things have kind of gone back to what people want. They want to shop for clothes. They want to shop for jewelry. They want to go on a vacation. They want to be entertained. They want to be happy. That's why you see all of these people on tour and putting out new albums and books, because people want that entertainment. They want to escape from whatever's going on in their life that's not great. But see, this is the thing. People think because, well, I'm on Instagram and I post something and I got 30,000 followers, and all 30,000 are going to do what I say and click the link and buy. That's not how it works. There's a whole bunch of marketing and business principles and practices and psychological things, and you got to know how people think, act, shop. What do they want at the moment? And then here's the kicker: everything changes. I just dropped everything changes. Nothing stays the same. So the way they behave this month, December, people are going to behave differently in January.
Correct.
Because it's a different time. We're in the holiday season now, so people feel in a different way and they want to buy gifts and this and that. But when January comes around, everything shuts down because people want to lose weight. They're overspent. They don't have any money. They're like, okay. So you have to realize how people behave. It's also consumer behavior. It's marketing. It's how society acts. It's what's going on. It's a whole gumbo of stuff, and people don't want to pay attention to that. They want to just post on Instagram and have, no work. I call it lazy. I said that before. I'm going to call it. It's lazy. But that's what's going on. So Snapchat is doing what it's doing because it's a business, and if you don't want to purchase Snapchat Plus, don't. You don't have to, because in the US there's always going to be an ad-free tier. An ad tier, because every app makes the most money with ads. No matter that Meta is getting this money from the EU or from Meta Verified or Snapchat Plus or X or whatever it's called, that's not the main avenue of revenue. It's always going to be ads. So we will always have free Facebook. We will always have a free Insta. It will always be a free, because people get more, these companies get more money when they run ads, because the businesses run ads. And just real quick, I wasn't going to talk about X ever again, but then this guy did something this week, went on some
with the ad.
Summit thing, and they asked him about Apple and all these other companies, IBM, that left his platform and said they're never going to run ads. So he told them to go and an F word themselves. This thing on the air, everywhere.
On the air twice.
Oh, he said it twice.
Yeah, in case you didn't hear it, he says, and
he said he don't need them. They can go themselves. He doesn't care. And the guy that's interviewing him is like, dude.
What do you say after that? What is
what can you say?
You can't fix that.
But that's how he is. He's gone on Joe Rogan and smoked marijuana. He's done this. He's done that. He's done crazy stuff. So that's why I was like, X was done last year. And I said it was a car that was running on gas and they're running out of gas. Well, all these major advertisers have left. So where's the money? And everybody goes, Elon Musk is $1 trillion and whatever he is. I don't care how much money he has. He had to go in partnership with some big money people to get X. That's not all of his money. So he's still beholden to people, even though he has all his money. But it doesn't make business sense.
Right. He never wanted X. He did not want it. And he was forced to buy it. So
I think he should have just paid the fine, whatever the billion, and walked away.
Yeah, pay the fine and let it die, because because now he's stuck here.
And he's jacking up the brand.
Well, the brand, but he never wanted the brand.
He never wanted Twitter. He
Yeah,
never wanted it
he
as a
never
business
wanted it.
venture. It was the you know, I think I've said this before. The people that went in with him financially had a vested interest in removing Twitter from social media because their countries, people in their countries is using X to say what was going on in their countries. So if you in a certain country, if you shut down the media, there's silence. Right.
Well, the
So
first thing in any war you want to do is cut off communication. So
right. So there's no communication, the people there, but there's social media. So that was, that's what was going on there. And you can see because he didn't buy it as a business venture. He wrecked the car.
Well,
he did it on purpose. He ran
On
that car
purpose.
into the wall on purpose.
On purpose. That's what I always said. It was the car in Thelma and Louise that went over the.
It was going over. He did not want that company.
No.
Well, and then the other thing is, if it goes bankrupt, then I can at least write it off. Okay.
But yeah, he gets a write off.
Right. So Mark has this comment. He says, "My best marketing strategy is extortion." Hey, Jimmy, I saw you with that woman going into that hotel. How's your wife? Oh, by the way, have you had a chance to buy my book?
Yeah, that's called a one and done. Yeah, you're gonna get the book is now $1,000 instead of being $19.99, and you get that's a one and done. So yeah, but I'm just interested in hearing people, and it seems like the voices are mad at Instagram because, and I think I've talked about this in the last month. We talked about it on and off on Tuesday. So I'm just saying that an app has to have money. So where is the money coming from?
Yes,
and that's what's up with Snapchat.
Any business needs capital.
Yes, you have to have capital. I heard of another app, but I'm not gonna get in that. Let's move on. We'll talk about Pinterest. Pinterest, we rarely talk about because Pinterest is one of those sites that's not really a social media app. It's more of a search engine. It's more of a search. So they've been doing their thing quietly. So now they have released. They are testing a body type ranges. So when you search, and remember on Pinterest, it's mostly women, and they're searching for home decor, wedding, clothing, the fashion, and hair, things like that. So they're making their product. So this is from them. They said they're making a product more inclusive with respect to body type diversity. They're testing a new consumer-facing tool that allows users to filter select searches by different body type. The feature will work with women's fashion and wedding ideas built on Pinterest's new body type technology announced earlier this year. So they have a whole thing around shopping online, which the barrier to shopping online, especially for women, is how will I look in it? So you need technology to close the gap between seeing something and buying it, and that is how will it look. So there's a lot of tools and things that will show you how a couch looks in your home, or you can put makeup. I think Charlene, you showed a video one time where they were talking about putting the makeup and stuff. So that's the technology.
The colors,
yeah. So Snapchat has used it with the Halloween costumes and other things. Pinterest is doing it with body type, and they do a lot of things around diversity. So they're saying it's a computer vision technology that uses shape, size, and form to identify various body types across the more than 5 billion images on the Pinterest platform. And AI is powering this new feature. So they're using this to get more people to use Pinterest. That's what it's all about. Okay, so that's what they're doing. That's what's up with Pinterest. So Pinterest is doing their little thing quietly in the background, the little engine that could, and let them, they're doing their thing. They have their people. And let's look at LinkedIn. LinkedIn expands ID verification to more regions. So they have, and I've gone through this. LinkedIn has a connection where if you go to your profile, they have a verified button, and you tap on the verified button, and it was using Clear, the Clear for travel.
TSA type stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, clear. So
Yeah.
then now they're switching to persona instead of clear. It will enable users to in more regions to confirm their ID in the app. So what you do is you have to you get a verification badge on your LinkedIn profile, which confirms that you uploaded and verified your government ID with one of LinkedIn partner providers. It was clear, and now it's persona. Now persona is going to want your government issued passport with an NFC chip.
Wow.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. And persona notes that if you've ever used a phone to tap for a payment, then it is NFC enabled. Here's the quote from LinkedIn. In Argentina, Australia, Bangladesh, a whole bunch of countries, and I can't list them all, the identity verification is performed by Persona, a third-party identity verification service. It's available in each country for those with a valid NFC passport. So now a lot more LinkedIn users will be able to confirm their identity, add a extra layer of assurance to the profile, helping to let people know they're dealing with an actual person and that your information is most likely to be legit. So this is coming from the fake side of AI with the deep fake videos, and the
Oh,
videos where they're making people say things and they look like Tom Hanks went through that, and then I think it was Gail King and another couple people. So a lot of these apps are looking at, okay, you're going to have to say who you are. For Meta Verified, you have to provide a government issued ID.
You do your driver's license
Yes,
or
your driver's
something.
license.
Yeah. And then
Mhm.
they delete it after 14 days or something. They
Right.
get rid of it, but you have to submit it.
Right. So that's where these apps are going, because there's increased demand for security, authentic, because of AI. And it's like I said, the bad side of AI is like everybody's going to make deep fakes and say the president of the United States said XYZ.
Okay, so this reminds me of what happened in Marvel's Invasion, where they had put on what is his name, Rhodey. They had put his face on. They had cloned all these people
And put his face on.
And so you're walking through, you get facial rec, but it wasn't the real person.
Right, because he used the facial.
They
Right.
used and so the technology was that you could change your facial things with what is it? The Agents of Shield had this mask you can put on, and it
Right.
would turn into whoever. So the technology was out there to change your facial, but this right here is asking you to go a little deeper.
Right.
Because the government issued ID would have certain things that.
Right, especially the ones that, if that now have the hologram and they have all this stuff on it.
Yeah.
So this is what's happening. This is where we're going, and it's because AI is driving us that way. And
Mark said, please include your DNA, bank account information, and social security number for additional verification.
Okay, so I have no idea what this NFC technology is. So I Googled it. Well, anyway, it says with persona.com, an NFC, near field communication chip, can best be thought of as a cross between a computer chip and an antenna that is capable of communicating with nearby devices.
Okay, so if you have a credit card, debit card, and you ever tapped it instead of swiping it or putting it in a machine, that's what the NFC is.
Okay, cool.
That's what it is when you tap, because now you don't have to. Remember with the credit card, you had to put it in the slot and put in a pin. Now you can just tap. They don't even ask you for. Some places don't ask for the pin; they just let you tap. So that's the. I think that's the NFC, and there's another one. I'm thinking RFID.
RFID, yeah.
Yeah, because you can get the wallets that protect, because people can get devices and scan through your wallet. So you can get the wallets that block all that.
Right.
And it's because of the chip in the card.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so see, this is what it is. Things are getting confusing. AI is coming, and people are going to use it for bad purposes.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to happen. I'm just saying we got to get used to it. So we got to keep informed. We got to get the right tools. We got to know where to go. So LinkedIn is saying, okay, we're going to avoid all of this stuff that's happening with fakes and people not being who they are and trying to scam. You know, I could go on as Gary Vaynerchuk, because I could just steal his picture in his bio and set up Gary Vaynerchuk with a underscore.
Yeah.
Right, or a dot, and people don't pay attention to the last.
No,
They
they
just
don't.
they see the picture of him and think it's Gary, or whoever it is that's famous. They just see the picture, and this happens on Instagram a lot. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
Instagram has the Meta verified.
Right.
So now LinkedIn is doing their verification. They're not charging, but they're saying, okay, you gotta upload. It was, you know, you had to go through the clear and take a picture and all the other stuff.
Yes.
And now they're doing persona, which is they want your passport.
Which
And
is,
it's because
I
of the
was
deep
like,
fake.
whoa, okay. That's a
Hmm?
step beyond.
I just,
Yeah.
anyway, go ahead.
Well, see, this we're moving from the anonymous part of the internet to you must prove who you are
Yeah.
before you
Right.
get access to X, Y, and Z, because the bad actors have come along and they can put a video. And I've seen you've seen the ones of Barack Obama, and he's saying they're making him say stuff, and it looks like Barack Obama, and it sounds like him because there's technology available now to do that.
Their voice, yeah, the whole thing.
Right. So
Right.
what's I'm going to tell you what the fix is that for that long term down the road is going to be blockchain.
Oh,
We're
okay.
going to have that blockchain somehow is going to be this new technology layer that interfaces with the internet. And I think I said this before, that there was something coming where you would have to have some kind of verification or level of, I called it the good housekeeping seal of approval.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know where, if the government was going to do, or it was going to be government and private. So now I'm thinking it's more of the blockchain, which we're not there yet. It's very, very early. And so when you think of the blockchain, don't think of crypto. That's something that's a part of the blockchain, but it's something different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This
So the blockchain is going to fix this because the blockchain does everything as a digital token.
So this would be kind of like like if you're Meta verified or anybody else verified, it wouldn't be Meta verifying you. It would be this clearinghouse
Yes. Yes.
verifying you, that you're, instead of each platform doing it on their own, there's a one central house.
Right. It might be a one thing, or it might not even be a clearinghouse, because I've got to do more study on the blockchain. But it's
Well,
decentralized servers, so no one will be in charge. I was thinking it would be like government and private together, which it may be. But the way things are splintering, there's going to be a government side of things, there's going to be a private side of things, there's going to be, because think about what is it, Blue Sky and Mastodon and all those other social medias that have the servers that are decentralized and nobody controls it.
Right.
So nobody's controlling it, but it's there. So I don't know how exactly this is going to happen. I just know that this is the way, and it's because of deep fake and people getting
and
scammed.
it makes sense to me that it would be, and it would operate like a wallet, because your wallet, you get a
Right.
blockchain number. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so
So
it's just a
I
new
would,
form of
yeah, I
social
would say if you don't
security
have
number.
a wallet, a digital wallet, I forgot what they're called. MetaMask is one. There's a couple other companies. I'm not recommending any. I'm just saying do the research, but it's going to be that where you have a wallet and a digital wallet and everything goes in there. Because the NFTs were working like that, where you had a digital wallet, and we're getting off track, but it's just that may be it. That may be the thing that.
Solution. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's going to be blockchain based, whatever it is. I was thinking it would be the internet, but it's not. It's going to be the blockchain on top of the internet, or connected, or a pass through, or something. It's just because deep fakes, people getting scammed. There's a lot of harassment, a lot of this, a lot of that, and the anonymous days of the internet are over. You're going to have to prove who you are, like government issued ID. passport. So this is what LinkedIn is doing and others like Meta. Like we said, Meta requires your government issued ID. And if you don't provide that, then goodbye. They're not that's a requirement.
Right. They will
So
not, yeah, you're not getting the
you
blue
can't
check
go,
without it.
no, you cannot go, no going past go, no whatever. You have to provide. So that's where we're moving. And it may move away from social media. It may move to the block. I don't know. I'm just getting, these are little things when I pick up and read and hear stories. And when I read this one about LinkedIn, I said, okay, this is where we're moving because AI allows everybody to deep fake or make something fake or to subvert, divert, whatever word you want to call it. That you can, and like Fran said about the movie where you put the, that seems so sci-fi, but no, we're there. We'll be there. And there'll have to be something that says this person is not Barack Obama, this person is not Tom Hanks, this person is not, because before we were doing it visually. Video was one of those things where, okay, you can't fake a video. Remember those days? Well,
You
those
can make
days
a
are gone.
video
You
now.
can fake videos now, and it sounds like the person. The mouth moves like the person. We're getting to the point where AI imagery and video and things you can't tell, and it's scary. But I'm just saying that there's something there. I'm just hoping the right people connect it in the right way. It's going to be rocky roads from here on out. I'm just saying that. So just get ready. Get ready. All right. So let's move on to TikTok. TikTok had a lot of stuff this week. TikTok has launched a new creative cards to provide content inspiration. These are creative cards, which are simple data-backed prompts that are designed to help you get thinking on potential content ideas. A creative card deck enables you to digitally tap through for notes of inspiration, including specific prompts based on community growth, edutainment. There's that word, education and entertainment combined. Creator tools, trends, and storytelling tips. There are more than 100 digital cards on offer. TikTok says they will help you keep your content fresh and avoid going stale, which can help you attract to seasonal products and gift ideas. You can tap through the cards individually, or you can check them all at once. And they're saying that this may be the thing you need to inspire your content approach. You have to sign up at I didn't go through the link, but if there's a link, TikTok creative cards, and you have to sign up with your email. So I did not sign up, but I do have the link here if you want to. Do we want to look at it?
Mm,
Or
I'm
you
still,
can Google.
I'm still waiting on them to get government verified, get some government approval before I start doing stuff with them.
All right, let me see if I can bring it. Yeah, I didn't click on the link because I was like, okay, what's up? TikTok?
TikTok
It's one of those things we're going like,
yeah.
okay.
Them
All
and
right, here we
WhatsApp.
have it
I'm
up.
like, yeah, I don't know about you two.
TikTok, we're like, we talked about it. I said, if you want to use it, don't use it on a phone that has your financial stuff. Okay, can we see that? Yeah.
Yeah, we can see that.
Yeah. So it says create fresh holiday ads all season long with TikTok creative cards. You have to register. Let me click on that. You have to register. What else is here? Yeah, so they want all this work email, company name, phone number, website. Okay, we will.
They're still getting they're getting info from you.
Right.
They are still getting information from you.
Right. So they're saying craft new and engaging content with 100 plus ideas in one deck full of fun, 5 categories: community, entertainment, creator tools, trends, storytelling. I still have not seen it because you have to register. So I don't know.
Give up data.
Yeah, so they're gonna want data. So we'll see. But that's what TikTok is doing with these creative cards. More from TikTok. TikTok is adding new artist accounts to help promote emerging musicians. And they're looking to solidify their link with the music industry. As you know, a lot of music artists will debut a song or put a song on TikTok and make up a dance. And then all the kids, ride the wave and do the challenge or do the dance. And then the song becomes popular. It's kind of like when the radio, a new song came on the radio, now the new song comes on TikTok. So they're trying to solidify this and make an artist account option, which will provide more tools to help musicians build their presence in the app. Here's a quote. The artist account is a toolbox of features and promotional tools developed to forge a closer relationship between artists and fans on TikTok. Now available to every artist or musician that has released music. The artist account is a shop window for fans to learn more about your music, creative process, and to discover the latest releases. So there you'll have they said you'll have a new artist tag for your profile. You'll have a dedicated music tab to showcase your latest tracks. You'll be able to highlight your latest tracks for up to 14 days before release and for 30 days after with a new tag. So there'll be all of these tags in it. They can find, if the kids are looking for new music, they can go to the new tag or they can look at the artist tag. And so these are things that they're trying to solidify with the music business.
This is like SoundCloud.
Yes. Yeah. Indeed. One more from TikTok. This came out today. Montana's ban on TikTok is now on hold. So remember earlier this year, the state of Montana said that they were banning TikTok, and we were saying, how was that going to work? So they're saying that a judge, a U.S. federal judge in Montana, temporarily blocked the ban from going live, claiming it was unconstitutional and overstep of state power. It violates the First Amendment and all this other stuff. And so that came out today. And so they are blocking the ban in the whole state of Montana from going forward. I remember there were some TikTok creators that were very mad, and they got together and they sued the state of Montana, saying it violated their First Amendment rights. I remember specifically one lady saying, "Oh, if the ban happened, her business would die." Okay,
what was you doing before?
I don't see how that happens, but
what was she doing before TikTok came along?
Exactly my point. Business is business, whether you use a social media or not. There's a lot of businesses that don't use social media at all. How are they surviving?
Wait, they're talking to a client? Okay.
I don't know. I laugh at it. I'm like, social media is the destruction of your business? Something's wrong. All right, let's look at, I don't want to skip anything. Yeah, Amazon. Let's look at Amazon. Amazon had this week, they had a reInvent developer conference. And one of the biggest things that Amazon has announced is they have Amazon Q. Amazon Q is coming. Amazon Q is designed for enterprise customers. That's their corporation level customers. It's not for the public. Q is meant to serve as a kind of general assistant to help users do things like draft emails, come up with business ideas, summarize reports, and plan workshops. Amazon is saying that Q was trained on 17 years of AWS, which is Amazon's servers and their Amazon Web Services. They have a separate business from selling products. They have this web services business. So they're saying they use that data to train their AI tool called Q. So they're saying one example, Amazon explains how you can use Q to take information from a corporate blog and turn it into a social media post complete with a hashtag. And another example, the company explains how you can use Q to create helpful apps for workers. So they're saying this is similar to Microsoft Copilot and Azure Azure AI Studios. So they're Amazon's coming into the AI space.
So it's just like ChatGPT, except for it's only for
it's only for enterprise level. It's not for the public.
But even if it's okay,
But see, Amazon has a whole side, another side of
Right.
business where
I
they
got that.
provide, right, they provide cloud services and things for enterprises. So they're
Right. So
pushing that on that side.
okay, so their enterprise customers can just use that instead of using Chat
Yeah,
GPT.
instead of using Chat GPT.
Oh,
So there's a lot of AI tools, people. There's gonna be more. Head spinning is what I call it. Head spinning. Let's get into Instagram. Instagram enables all users to download publicly posted Reels clips. This came out over a week ago. They're saying that you can now download publicly posted Reels in the app, and you'll see a download option in Reels share display if a creator has enabled downloads of their clips so they can be downloaded and you can upload and put them wherever you want. Now, how this works is TikTok has the same option. So I remember, if we went to Twitter or any other place that's not TikTok and watched videos, we knew it was from TikTok because TikTok has the logo on it and the user's name everywhere on the video. Like, that's from TikTok because that little thing floats around. So this is what Reels is doing. Like, they want, okay, so this is how we expand our Reels reach, is by letting people download the Reel, and it will have the Instagram logo floating around with the username, and then it can go to Twitter, which is, people's not there anymore. You could go to Threads, or you can put it on LinkedIn, you can put it on wherever. That's what this process is. All right, so Meta, Facebook is removing its hobbies section from user profile. So if you filled out your little hobbies on your Facebook profile, they're going to remove that. And people going, what was that? I never used it. Well, then it's okay. So they put this hobbies option back in 2019. You can add hobbies to your Facebook profile to express yourself and find friends who share similar interests. So that's what it was about, and now they're removing it. And one more about Meta. Meta is facing new scrutiny over claims that youngsters are exposed to harmful content. So there's a new complaint against Meta filed on behalf of 33 states, that they have misrepresented their community standards enforcement reports, and they're saying that they're not being truthful. So there's a whole bunch of lawsuits going on towards Meta, as usual. As usual.
well, the bigger you are, the bigger target you
Yeah, you're a
become.
big target. But Meta's been doing their, can we say Cambridge Analytica? Does anybody remember that?
Yeah. So, okay, and this is for the kids, right?
Right.
Again, and you've said this, we've said this over and over again. Parents need to be watching their kids online, not Meta.
And Meta and TikTok and Snapchat have all put in tools and options for parents to use. So you cannot, and this has been a long journey where they started, there's a complaint, this happened, that happened. So they said, okay, we put this tool in, we put that tool in, we put this in, we put that in, but they're still, like you said, they're not taking responsibility for the job. Parents have a job. If you're not taking responsibility, I've always said this, that if you're paying for that phone, that's your phone. The parent, that's your phone. You can say, give me this, I'm going to block this and that. I've seen discussions on some of my other websites where forums and parents are saying, well, I got my kid a jitterbug or the phone or whatever, the phone that only makes phone calls. Some of them say they remove the apps because they want the GPS. Somebody said there's a phone that does the GPS only, some type of phone that you cannot install an app, but it does phone calls, text, and GPS. Because GPS is one of the most important things,
Right.
when
So
you have kids.
for the location services.
Right, you can tell where they are.
Yeah.
And it's for the phone, but it's also for the person that's carrying the phone. If you have a minor child, it puts your mind at ease. So
The days when you used to be able to give your child a quarter and say, if you need something, go to the payphone and call me.
Yeah, come pick us up from the mall. Here's your quarter. Call me when you're ready. Those days are gone. Oh boy. All right. So one more from the Meta world. Threads is set to launch Threads in the EU next month. So this is what all the EU users were crying about ever since
We can't
Threads came
get
out
this.
this summer.
We
Why
can't
can't we have
get it.
Threads? And Meta said, "We'll talk to your people because your people put these policies and privacy laws into place." So now Meta is planning on launching Threads to EU users yet next month. So they're saying, of course, it wasn't available due to privacy regulations. And now Meta said they can meet the new DSA regulations. And here's a quote from Wall Street Journal. To comply with EU regulations, Meta will give EU users the choice of using Threads purely for consumption without a profile that allows them to make their own posts. So Meta will provide a data opt-out in line with the EU rules, while users will also have the choice to create a Threads profile as normal and engage in the app like any other user. So we shall see how this comes out
Mm.
for Threads and the EU users. Interesting. So that's what EU been crying. Oh, we want to get on Threads, so now they can get on. And remember, they're doing that ad-free experience where you have to pay, and good for them.
Yeah.
Um, just one for YouTube. Google Bard is getting smarter now, better understands YouTube videos. So if you use Bard, which I tried them again, and I was like later for this thing, it didn't do what I wanted to do. But if you use Bard, they have extensions now that you can enable, and they have one that lets you look at a video, and you can ask questions, and it looks at the video content, and it has the ability to interpret that content for detailed queries. That's from the article. So they're saying, this is the quote: "We're taking the first step in Bart's ability to understand YouTube videos. For example, if you're looking for videos on how to make olive oil cake, you can now also ask how many eggs the recipe in the first video requires." So
Mm.
they're saying it will have the ability to ask specific questions about a video.
Well, that's pretty good though.
Mm-hmm.
I think
So
so.
Google says they're introducing this feature because you want deeper engagement with YouTube videos and you want a richer conversation with Bard about it. So if you use Bard, there's some extensions. That's one of them. There's several others, but I think that's a good one where you can look at a video and ask, it will search the video and give you the answers.
I like that because if, say, for instance, I want to know how to put a nail in the hole, a nail in the wall,
and you don't want to watch the video,
and I don't want them to give me all of that all
extra
that stuff. Where in the video does that happen? And it can take me, if you can tell me how to get there without going through
right.
a
And
bunch of
see, this
stuff
bar will give you the answer, will go to the video for you and give
and
you
get the
the answer. You don't
answer.
even have to go to the video anymore.
Ah,
Right.
okay,
So that's
that
what
might
Bard
work.
is.
But
That's
Bard
what-
has to work first in order for that to work. So, okay.
Right. One more from Google. If you didn't know, Google is deleting your old Gmail accounts. It started today. They're purging all accounts that have been active for 2 years or more. The move is meant to help cut back on the number of accounts that can be hijacked by hackers, because most of these accounts do not have two-factor authentication, or if they haven't been used in over 2 years, the password is old or hasn't been updated. So those are all ways hackers can hack into the account and hack into Google. So they're saying that these old accounts are 10 times less likely to use two-factor, or what I just said, the two-factor. So they are going to do that. So you can hold on to an old account. If you can logging in is a signal to Google that this is inactive. It's active, not inactive. It is active. So all you gotta do is log in, and that's it. You can log in, you can read an email, you can go to YouTube with that account logged in and watch a video. You can go to your Google Drive, download a video, or create a Google Doc. All of those things will be a signal to Google to not delete your old Gmail account. So I saw online a lot of people was like, oh, let me go log, because they have, all these old accounts. So they're logging in crazy. And that's all you have to do is log in. and
You
Google
know
will not
though,
delete it.
that should be a sign to you that if it's been 2 years since you logged into the account, do you need that account? I think we need
Exactly.
to stop spreading ourselves so thin across technology and media to the
Hmm.
point that, oh damn, I forgot I had a Foursquare account. You know, stupid
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I agree with you. I agree. So Google, we don't Google doesn't have unlimited space, people.
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
It seems like it. But they're like, okay, it's time to clean up these accounts because one, it's a security hazard, and two, like Dr. Taji said, what are you doing with it? It's been 2 years. What are you doing with it? You haven't logged in once a year, twice a year, 3 times, 2 years. So they're getting rid of it. They're getting rid of it. So, and the last one we have to talk about is Microsoft and OpenAI, which is a big, big, big
Oh
story. So the
gosh.
news today, before I get into what happened with OpenAI, the news today is Microsoft has a non-voting board on the seat at OpenAI. Now, why is that important? Because Microsoft did not have one before all of the events of
Woo!
November 17th.
The shenanigans that happened last on November 17th.
So yeah, so if you don't know, we talked about it on Tuesday because it's been a year officially. A year of Chat GPT was November 30th. That's
Mhm.
their birth date. So it was yesterday. So it's been a year. So but on the 17th, the CEO of OpenAI and one of the co-founders was kicked out of the company, kicked out as CEO by the board, a 5-member board. And they did it on a Friday. They did it
Mhm.
like at 4:47 or 4. And that's important because that's because of the news cycle. So it was like a lot of celebrities will announce divorces on Friday before, like 1 minute before 5, because most of the news organizations have already cooked their 6 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock news cast. So they're not gonna put this in. So they're hoping that the story dies by Monday. Is why they do it this way. So so they kicked him out. Everybody was shocked. The tech world was like, "What happened?" And that whole weekend it was back and forth. The employees of OpenAI, I think like 90% of them said they were going to walk out if they didn't bring Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, back. All of this happened on X, by the way, which is like I was just crazy because I don't like using that platform, but a lot of tech people will not let it go. They will not go to threat. There's a whole nother discussion about that. Why the tech bros will not go to threads. But anyway, that's a side thing. So all of this happened because Sam Altman was tweeting on X. The other co-founder, I think his name is Brockman.
Mm-hmm.
He was tweeting on X. The employees were on X. They all of the employees put a letter together and put the letter on X, and then everything was going back and forth. And then Microsoft, and then of course they did not tell Microsoft because Microsoft has invested 13 billion into OpenAI, which
They had
OpenAI is a nonprofit and a for-profit. I did not know that. It's two companies. So it was a real just mess of things. So Microsoft didn't know. Microsoft got upset. The CEO of Microsoft, I forgot his name. He had a meeting and they brought Sam and Greg over into Microsoft. Was going to make a whole division within Microsoft, basically a copy of OpenAI inside of Microsoft. And then the employee letter came out. So then the board got scared, which they should have because they messed up. So now they were about to lose 90% of the employees. What kind of company is that? So then there was discussion about, okay, we're going to kick the board out and Sam Altman can go back as CEO, which is what happened. It's still a mess. It's still a mess, and it was a wild weekend because they kept back and forth because we went to sleep. It was one thing. Sam Altman was fired. We went to sleep, woke up. Oh, now he works for Microsoft. Then we went to sleep, woke up, and then no, it was just a back and forth tennis match. It was just for tech people, it was a circus. It was a circus for regular people. They were like, well, what's the big deal? We were like, no, 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 no. This is crazy. So that's what happened. So now he's back. CNBC, I'm gonna put this link in here. CNBC did a whole like breakdown of it on Monday. So if you're curious, there's the link, there's a video, there's a whole breakdown. TechCrunch also has if you go to I don't have that a link, but they have a whole breakdown of OpenAI from November 30th up until today, like a whole timeline if you're
Yeah,
interested.
from
But that's what
2022.
happened. Let me see if I can find that one.
The one from 2022. And Dr. Christie, she has a question here. She says, is there an application or tool to move information from other Google accounts you don't use to the account you frequently use so you can delete the accounts
That's a
you
good
don't use?
question. I don't think so, but I haven't heard of anything that would do that. But that's a good question.
Can you import the emails?
Right. Can you move one from one account to the other? I don't know. That's a good question.
We might
I
be
haven't
able to
heard
ask
anything.
Bard.
What's that?
We might be able to ask Bard, can you do it? And
Yeah, I would Google say tool to migrate or tool to move information data from one Google account to another. And if it's there, it will be there. Now, if nothing comes up, that means there's no tool that does it. I don't think so, but you can try to search for it. I don't see the link on TechCrunch, so I will, if I find it before we end today, I'll put it up. But that's your social media news and update for the week.
woo, there was a lot. That was a lot. And
Thank you, Terry.
You're welcome. So any questions about the OpenAI stuff? I know if you're not a tech person, well, not a tech person. I mean, if you don't follow tech news like I do, I follow all of it. If you don't follow it or pay attention to it, it's fine. You don't have to pay attention to it. It was just a big thing.
yeah, and it is a major thing, especially because Microsoft owned 49% stock.
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
OpenAI.
49%.
And
Right.
so,
And they didn't have a seat on the board. Now they do. I saw a lot of people, and I said this too, that this was like the thing that happened with Steve Jobs when they fired Steve Jobs from Apple in 1990 something, but he quit, and then he made Pixar and other things, and then Apple went down to the point where they had to ask Steve Jobs to come back, and Steve Jobs said, "Sure, you got to buy all my companies that I made in the interim," which and then you have it, and then Apple became what it is. So that's kind of like what it is happening, like the founder, like the guy, and they kicked him out.
you should, it seems like the board, the original board from OpenAI would have had some type of remembrance about firing somebody. You're about to fire somebody from
Right.
the board. What happens in history
Well,
when
now
the other
remember,
person got fired from the board?
a lot of these the board members are millennials, so they don't remember all of this. They're not old people. These are millennials under 40.
Okay, so they wasn't paying attention to temperature.
Yeah, and
in the
then
room.
one of the board members, Helen, somebody, her name, she's the main one, that she wrote a paper or something, and then she's connected with Anthropic, which runs Claude, which is a competitor to ChatGPT, run by a former OpenAI employee. So she was on their side. So there's a whole lot of things. And then another guy on the board was backing with Elon Musk, because Elon Musk had put some money in early days in OpenAI, but he left or kicked out or whatever. So you had a lot of drama-filled things going on. And remember, it was 5 people. So it was like the one person that made the decision was the chief scientist or something, or the chief, the chief guy that put everything, code and everything. He was convinced to join the doomers. That's what they're called. They believe AI is going to destroy humanity. So they want to stop it. So they convinced him, but then he flip-flopped and went back on the side with Greg and Sam, which were the founder. It was just so much that people are still trying to. They'll write a book about this and they'll make a Netflix movie about it. That's what I'm going to say.
Coming.
And that's why they didn't say anything about it, because they're just holding out for the rights for the movie so they can make even more money.
Yeah, there'll be a book and a movie. Trust.
Wow.
It's coming.
But that's it. So that's what happened.
So,
Sorry.
I was just going to say good morning to Carlos, and he says we have to meet. Is that talking to you, TJ? Because
Yeah, I think so.
yeah,
Where
Carlos,
is he? Yeah, we've been talking about it.
y'all in New York, so
Mm-hmm.
okay. Dr.
All right.
Tachi. And
Hey.
Yeah.
Dr. Christie says, passport for social media looks like Christmas for hackers and cyber thieves.
Boy, basically, wow. There was something before that you were talking about, Terry, that I was going to respond to, and I got distracted and I forgot it now. So,
It'll come back
um,
to you.
yeah, it will come back to me. So, but I did want to talk about this. This is not quite media, but this is something that is tech, but is something that will affect us.
Okay.
And where are you? Here you are. All right. So I don't know if you heard about this, but it was in Wall Street Journal. It was on CNN. So the new billionaire heirs now have the amount of new billionaires that are heirs, meaning they got their wealth through inheritance or it's
Mm-hmm.
generational wealth, has now
Mm-hmm.
overtaken self-made million billionaires
Wow.
as 5.2 trillion as a 5.2 trillion dollar wealth transfer
Wow.
begins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So here's the thing. So now, for the first time, billionaire heirs are more likely than their parents to focus on the major opportunities and challenges facing the global economy, investing in sectors like clean energy and artificial intelligence. Since we were talking about AI, this was another reason
Mhm.
I wanted to bring this up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, this is according to UBS, that is a Swiss lender. So they did this study. And Benjamin Cavalli oversees strategic clients in the global wealth management at UBS. And he says this: the great wealth transfer is gaining significant momentum as many billionaire entrepreneurs age. In the next 20 years, actually, more than 1,000 billionaires are going to pass an estimated 5.2 trillion to their children.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's
Yep.
an awful lot of wealth. And the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, it's like you just kind of hang your head and you're like, well, damn, that doesn't include me. And this is why I think what you all do with the Biz Chicks is critically important. That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that everybody is going to become a billionaire or multimillionaire,
Right.
but if this trend has any merit, that shows, and I suspect that this has actually been the case for quite some time, that the majority of wealth, particularly, well, it's globally, but the majority of wealth is generational wealth, right?
Yeah.
When we look at,
Mm-hmm.
I was watching a YouTube video of what's her name? Danielle. She's style and beauty doctor on YouTube, and she
Mm-hmm.
was talking about women and the millionaire women. I think this was, I can't remember. So the amount of millionaire women that were on a list. Now, the interesting thing that she talked about, this is what it was, that you know how they always say, well, million people that really have money don't they're not loud with their fashion. They're not like
Mm-hmm.
buying all the labels
Right.
like the rest of
Right.
us groundlings are. So that's what the thing was, because she talks about style and beauty, but also about saving and that type of thing. So
Mhm.
she looked at a list of the 5 top richest women, and she looked at their fashion, and it was not anything descriptive. Now, sometimes like Zuckerberg pays like $200 per t-shirt for that damn black or
Mm-hmm.
gray t-shirt, and so it's more for them a quote quiet luxury, which I hate that term, but that's what the term is. So
Right.
then she juxtaposed that with some other women. Most of them were like in entertainment, and so like Oprah Winfrey, I think her net worth is what's it, 2 billion, and then Rihanna is
Mm-hmm.
like 1 billion something. Taylor Swift is, so she went through that. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that was interesting, because all the women on there, they all got their money through inheritance
Mm.
Right.
or their ex-husband, like who's Amazon? Bezos.
Right.
Bezos's ex-wife got,
Right.
a lot of her money through
From
that
the
divorce
divorce.
settlement,
Right.
right? So it was either inheritance, divorce, or something, how they gained their wealth. Whereas the other women that she talked about, they were all their wealth was through their own work, meaning
Right.
they built empires. Not
Mhm.
you have a team, but basically on your own you built an empire. So that's the difference, and you
Mhm.
see the wealth gap. So I think the poorest person on the most wealthy persons list was like 23 billion. That's the poorest person. So you juxtapose that with those who got the wealth on their own, and the highest is only like a billion or so. Now to me, I'm like, that's beautiful. But juxtaposed against the poorest person on the most wealthy woman list being 23 billion, that tells you something. So I thought this was interesting because it, as we look to build businesses in whatever realm, but especially also now, the media realm, we have to
Mhm.
look at these things and we have to set things up, not just for us, damn it, yes, for us, but also for the next generation of media makers, next generation of business
Right.
owners, because this shouldn't be. It's a glaring inequality, and it actually bloody made me mad because you also, I'm sure you all know about what the new this new uh, uh, law where you have to report to the government website. You know what I'm talking about,
Oh,
because
the law. If you make over $600, you have to file. Is that the thing you're talking about?
no, 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 no. There's for business owners, you have to like register your business again. I can't.
Oh,
There's
okay.
a
I didn't
government
hear about
website.
that. I'm gonna look that one up.
Exactly. I happened to just come across it, and
Okay.
it's happening. So starting, I think January 1st, 2024, you're going to have to. It's a government website, and I'll look for it before we go. And if
Mm-hmm.
you have a business, you're going to need to register it. Because what they're trying to do is like prevent fraud.
Right, because the money laundering, because that's where a
Yes,
lot of it happening. So this is probably going to go through RICO and all that stuff. So the government's trying to find these places where money laundering is happening, and it's happening a lot with internet and online businesses because
exactly.
of right. That's
Exactly, but it's very interesting that the people that are exempt from this are the government themselves, banks,
hmm yeah,
nonprofits,
yeah,
the very places that also do debaucherous things
yeah.
with money.
They always exempt themselves.
So, that's where all of this is coming from. Why I'm like, you know what? What? So when I saw between that, having to file for that, and now this, looking and seeing this, it's like, all right, we can't just, if you're really interested in building real wealth and improving
hmm
your fields, you really have to do something so that generational wealth is created. Stop
And
buying
this,
red bottom. I'm
mhm,
not saying don't buy them at all, but we're way
right.
too focused on things,
Yes, I
and
agree.
consuming and not
hmm
producing and
Right.
not worried about transferring
See,
wealth to
that's the
next
trick.
generation.
That's the trick of social media. It's an entertainment. Is and I was just saying about wasting time and being online and looking at social media. A lot of people are consuming and not, like you said, creating. That's why I talk about the creator economy. Like there's opportunity there, but you have to want to do it. You have to want to educate yourself because it's not gonna be spoon fed to you. It's there. Everything is there. And most of it is free. You don't have to buy somebody's course for $9.97 or whatever the price is. A lot of it is free, but that's time consuming because you have to sift through the information and vet it and all of that stuff. So that's why I was like, you got to be here with us because we are sifting through that for you. And the create economy, I forgot what that number was. Something in the trillions, friend, when we were
Mhm,
talking about it. That was going
mhm.
to be in the trillions. That's
Yep.
opportunity right there. The
Mm.
opportunity. So a lot of
Mhm.
people have to be educated about it. And Dr. Todd, I want to ask you, was the video called "What Can the Richest Women in the World Tell Us About Style?" Because I did a real quick
Yeah,
search.
yeah,
Is that it?
with Style and Beauty Doctor, right?
It's her
Danielle.
channel, Style with Danielle.
Yes,
Is
that's
that the
her.
channel? Okay, because I
That's
want to
her.
look at the video. Yeah,
Yeah, watch the video if you can,
yeah,
because I'm like, this is really interesting.
Is that
Um,
a YouTube link that you can put in the
yeah. Let
chat
me let me see if I can bring it. Let me if I
and
can
put it in the
bring it.
private chat too?
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna
we
put
can
it in
get
the
it.
private chat. Yeah.
And I actually made a comment underneath that, noting that, this was very interesting, but
Mm.
that the
Mhm.
women who are on the richest list that you mentioned all got it through means that were not their own, and the other ones got it on their own, and you can see
Right.
the huge wealth gap.
Because
So,
the richest woman in America is one of the Walton kids,
yes,
Sam Walton
exactly, from
kids.
Walmart,
Yes,
exactly,
she's the
but
richest.
Walmart,
And the second
exactly,
one is from the Coach family.
Mm.
Her husband died, one of the Coach
right.
brothers. And then the next one is Amar's Amar's, she's the heir of the
Of
Mars
the Mars,
candy.
candy bar
Yeah,
company. Yep.
that's over 100, at least 100 years.
And
Almost.
coaches too.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're right. A lot of this is from the generational wealth because Mars has been in business.
Hun-
I'd have to look up and see, but that's
Forever.
one.
I mean, if
Yeah,
you
that's an
eat
old
chocolate in this
business.
country, you
Right.
probably are biting into something that's Mars or Hershey or some these old
Hmm.
established families that set up these
Almost 100 years. Yeah.
companies. Yeah, for almost 100 years. And so the thing is, some people, and maybe this doesn't get to people who are fine with where they are. I'm trying to be a multimillionaire. So this kind of
Right.
gets to me when I look at these things.
Mm.
In this country, you are like we've been saying, school teaches you to be a part of the machine. It is
Hmm.
indoctrinating you into a system not to think for yourself and be happy with whatever you are given. Well,
Right.
I'm grateful for what I have, but I'm not happy to be given anything, because then you can tell me what my limitations are. That's one of the reasons I left the academy full time, because I
Right.
only was ever going to make a certain amount. There's
Right.
always a
There's a
ceiling
limit.
on what
Hmm.
you can make when you work for
Hmm.
somebody else. And
True.
these are the things they don't tell you about. Yeah, they try to throw in little things like have small businesses be responsible for carrying the bulk of the tax weight on the country, like with this
Right.
stupid new law, because that's who's going to feel the brunt of it, the small
Well,
businesses.
yeah. It's always been the low middle class that has the tax burden is always falling.
I have a
Always.
I have a
Mhm.
perspective
Please.
on what we're talking about the women
Mhm.
who the ones who
Right.
inherited and those who
Right.
didn't. This is interesting because could it be the Mars company? Many of them started with nothing. They built up, and so this is a
Right. Right.
lesson for us to do what the families did because when they came in, many of them didn't get money. They started the candy company from building
Right. From
candies and
scratch.
selling it or
Yeah.
whatever. And
Yeah.
then and how do you sustain that for 100 years? There's a lesson to be learned.
Right. That's good
Sustain,
business practices because Mars is 112. I think it said it was 1911. But a lot of these, there's a good story about this, not the women factor, but like the businesses like Mars. There's a good series on what channel is it? I was watching it, and it is it the History Channel about the back, like they show how Coca-Cola was built,
right,
how Kellogg was built, how Bird's Eye was built. So they talk about McDonald's and things like this. So they look at the history of the business, and it's very important to look at that stuff because you like Fran is saying, you see how where they started, how they started with most of them, a lot of them with nothing and just an idea, but they kept at it. There was a continuity, a perseverance, a keep going attitude when things was coming. And so I mean, I know Mars is old, but some of the things that they did to start the business, those are business practices that sustain the test of time. Like you can still use those things. It's just we use the new tools now.
right.
And
And
the ideas are there. You have to have the ideas, you have to have the will to do it, and you have to keep going. Those are very hard things to do.
yeah, and then but that's what we need to teach to those that we are leaving a legacy to, so that they don't spend it all the money on red bottoms after
Right,
we've told them how to build it or whatever, and then they start going, woohoo, I'm going shopping. No,
right. That
we
money
need
has
to,
to be reinvested into the business to keep it
right,
going and to scale.
and
I mean,
we have to do that as we are
Mhm.
building and what have you. We leave clues and like TJ likes to call breadcrumbs on how to keep it going. It's not enough for you to get all the millions and now you sitting around the pool and doing all these other things, but how are you sustaining what you built?
Right. And see, the one thing I'll say, business is in America, capitalism and business is business. It was business 100 years ago, it's business today. The same principles, the same core ideas of building a business and stuff, but that's what we need to relate to people today. Like, there's nothing, you're using social media, using AI, yeah, that's great, but the underlying platform is still business principles, which have been in effect not even in America, even before. I mean, you can go back to marketplaces in Jesus's time. That, I mean, I'm just saying, business principles that have never changed.
Yes,
Like how
because
people
Jesus did
behave.
flip the tables over in the
Right.
temple. He did.
How business works, the marketplace, they bartered back then. We don't barter now, but it's the same thing. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. They think, oh, it's 2023, I'm not going to do anything like Mars. I'm not going to look at the history of business or the business principles, but those things, those are the bedrock foundation.
Right. And if you had crappy service back when Jesus was flipping tables, you wasn't nobody was coming to your portion of the marketplace because we knew who you were.
Well, that just happened in Atlanta. So if you was following the Keith Lee Atlanta thing, that's what the
Yes.
whole discussion was. Yeah, they don't believe in giving good customer service and going, oh, well, you know, it was a whole discussion. I'm like, you people are crazy. You have to serve the customer.
Well, you know what? And this leads to, and I know this is not business talk, but I
Yeah.
think this is definitely related to all of this because money is the thread that runs through all of this. So I think it is
Yeah.
very important, which is why I wanted to bring this up today.
Yeah. No, great,
I think
great
with
topic.
the Keith Lee thing, that's very interesting because if you notice now, if you're following him on social media,
Yeah.
he is now in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Houston learned their lesson by watching what happened from Atlanta. And Houston is different anyway.
Right.
But
It's different. Yeah, cities are different cultures. Right. But
different culture.
right.
But Houston, even though they have a sizable Black population, it is not like Atlanta. So Atlanta took it very personally and they took it as if, oh, you are trying to denigrate Black businesses by
Right.
saying we did something wrong. And the lesson here is that you can learn from anyone. So when we're talking about, like you're talking about business principles being the same from the beginning of time, I think sometimes, and yes, let me speak to those of you of African hue here. Sometimes we think that we cannot learn from anybody else but ourselves, right? That we can only, so I can only go to things run by Black people or what. No, you can learn from anyone. Not everyone's advice is going to be great. So you throw away what you don't want and keep the good things about it. But you can learn from anyone. So yeah, absolutely. And see, what's going to happen is Keith Lee's word carries a lot of weight, especially since he really didn't do anything wrong. And you all came with pitchforks and torches to run him out of town at dawn.
A man buying some food, him and his wife eating it and giving his honest review. That's what it is. So this week he went to some lady that made desserts or something, and they said she was sad because she only got 2 sales a day. He went there, and now you can't. The lines are out the block, down the street.
And it's about the marketing. And that's the important thing with media and social media, that you can use these. And this is why it pays to master them. Because confetti for everybody. It pays to master them because not everybody is going to be fortunate enough to have a Keith Lee come and taste the food and your line will be around the block. There are way more restaurants than there are Keith Lees. As such, you need to be that magic. You need to be the marketing magic. You need to be the social media magic. You need to be the video magic to get people to your establishment. That is going to transfer into being able to save money, to carry on and make your business profitable so that it can be generational wealth for your family. So
it's a lesson in business that you can't just make a business and open the door and say, well, I'm open. They're just going to come stampede in. And not to say about this lady and her business, I don't know what she was doing, but I'm just like, obviously there was something was a disconnect, because when Keith Lee can say it's a 10 out of 10, if people go there and go, this is crap, I don't like it, it don't taste good, they're not going to come back. So it's not him mind controlling people. That's what they think. It's like, oh, Keith Lee is mind controlling people. And no, he's just pointing a spotlight, and he's like, this is my opinion. You guys go and check it out for yourself. And that's what they're doing. So when they check it out and you're good, you're going to survive. You're going to be viral like these people. So,
Well, I need him to come here and take people's egos down a notch. Please come to Miami because they need to be humbled.
Has he not come? He's coming.
Yeah, no, please come and humble the people here. That's all I have to say, because Atlanta was quickly humbled. That was the thing. Yeah. The egos were in the way, and they were humble. How dare you say my greens are watery? I mean, they were very they were offended, but that's what you get.
And just a real quickly thing about Keith Lee, he's a young man that has 14 million followers on TikTok. He's a MMA fighter, I think. He's traveled the world, and his thing is food. He's a foodie. He likes food, and he's been everywhere. So he said, I wanted to do something for Black restaurants, Black businesses, to build them up and shine a spotlight just by going and eating in his car and just saying what he thinks about each dish. That's it.
And isn't that what happens anyway? Somebody comes to your restaurant, ooh, this peach cobbler tastes good. And they turn around and tell their friends. It's still word of mouth, except for he picked up a phone and said, this peach cobbler is good.
Right. And if you want to do this in your local, you can do this. Go to a business and try them out and say, hey, this is my honest review, and put it on TikTok. You don't know what's going to happen.
Look, there was a couple on a morning show, national morning show. Their goal is to go to every diner in New Jersey, and I
saw that. that.
And then they write a review, and they ended up on national television.
Right, because the diner culture in New Jersey is dying. So that's why they're doing it. Yeah,
I love a good diner
where it's nice and wholesome and you
family can oriented.
Some breakfast food. Like if you want breakfast, I want breakfast with the whole shebang. Give me the eggs, grits.
I saw that story. I wanted to go. I was like, oh, there was some kind of apple pancake thing that they made. I was like, I want to go get that.
Yeah, I mean, so the moral of all of this is that, well, number one, pay attention to the generational wealth. Look at what's happening. Pay attention to that generational wealth, how you can create that, not just for your family, but in terms of your field. For me, it's media. For me, it's video. How can you contribute positively to that and make the gap smaller between those who are able to really amass and do well and those who are not? How can you make that gap smaller? Number two, to the Keith Lee thing and all of this is all content. Like Terry said, you can actually go and do the same thing. So if you're looking to get into the media game, into the social media game, you can actually do the same thing. Number three, by that same take, if you are a small business like a restaurant or whatever, and somebody does do a review, be open to criticism. That your stuff is not always 100%, and be open to that and be like, okay, well, what can we do to improve? That's the hallmark of a great business. What can I do to improve? And then, pick up the damn camera yourself. The reason you're obscure is because you don't do anything. You have 15 posts on a social media account you've had since 1999. Okay, that makes no sense. So you too have to either hire someone or pick up the phone yourself and do some things.
Exactly. You don't have to be Keith Lee with 14 million followers. You can be Joe whoever with 1,000. But you have to, like Dr. Tachi said, pick up the phone. You as a business can do this. You just simply make the videos, and if you're doing food or you're doing whatever it is, make it enticing. And it doesn't have to be a whole thought out process. Just talk to the people and do it and show them and let them know where you are. That's the key, and that's it. But keep doing it. Keep doing it. You don't have to be Keith Lee with 14 million followers. You can just be yourself. You can be the business. Pick up the phone and record and put it down, and then go back. Don't sit there obsessively. Well, only one person saw it. No. You have to build up. It's a tolerance. It's muscle. You have to keep doing it over and over.
See, because Keith Lee wasn't doing it to get followers and likes. He was just doing it just because he wanted to talk about the different restaurants, and whoever followed.
Keith Lee started with 0, y'all.
Exactly where everybody starts. I always say, that you always start with 1, 0 or 1. And I mean, because every year I always recognize the first person who ever watched Mediascope, for like a couple of days. He was the sole person, and then it starts to grow. So it's about consistency and being on brand, deciding what your brand is, and sticking that. If you're all over the place, it's going to be hard for people to follow you. They want to be able to know, I'm coming here for XYZ, for style advice, for food reviews, whatever the case is. That doesn't mean you can't do other things, but you cannot be master of none.
Yeah, don't confuse
is the only person who can do that.
Yeah, don't confuse your audience. Don't confuse the people. They will not come back.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So
great topic.
Yeah. So I'm just going to add in a couple of other things because I know we're basically at time. But for anybody who may be a member of AARP, Paramount Plus is giving you an exclusive discount. So you're going to be able to get a little bit of a cheaper price for those of a certain age. So they announced Wednesday they're going to put in place an exclusive streaming benefit, offering a 10% discount on the premium streaming service to new and returning subscribers. So this is what Jeff Schultz, who's the Chief Strategy Officer and Chief Business Development Officer at Paramount Streaming, said. And he said this in a statement, quote, "Aligning with world-class brands has been a cornerstone of our market-leading growth strategy, and we are thrilled to introduce a new offer with AARP that enables us to engage with millions of their members. Our total household offering, which includes popular content from studios such as CBS, Paramount Pictures, and Showtime, means Paramount Plus is a natural fit for the AARP audience." Sheesh. You put it out there like that, didn't you? And we are excited that this new deal allows us to better reach this vast and active community. Vast and active. That is code word for y'all old, okay?
I'm like, wow, they just called everybody who watches Paramount old.
They did. I was like, what? Those are fighting words. I mean, and they may be too tired to fight you, but those are fighting words. So in any case, if you are interested, there is an AARP discount for that. So the promotion is available to subscribers in the US. Unfortunately, if you're in Puerto Rico, it doesn't apply to you, and it's applicable for both monthly and annual plans. So you can actually, they probably have, if you're a member of AARP, I'm sure they have that listed for you as a benefit. So check it out. Check it out. All right. So moving on. Streaming services will double the number of pricing tiers next year. Is this a prediction or what is? I think it's a matter of both.
I think it's what is already. My God.
Exactly. So the top subscription streamers are set to more than double the number of available pricing tiers next year, introducing options that include access to premium content, yearly contract bundles, and much more. And this is according to Deloitte's actual annual TMT, Technology, Media, and Telecom predictions for next year. So the firm asked this in the study: will there be the right option for everyone? Will it help the streamers grow? And will it reduce churn? Or will it be like a restaurant with a 15-page menu? So many choices that consumers can't make up their minds. I think we're kind of there already.
Right.
If you ask me. So virtually every streaming service has raised prices already on their existing plans or introduced new tiers. So Max has Bleacher Report sports add-on. That's going to cost an additional $9.99 a month starting in March. That is a lot. just
For
for the Bleacher
it's,
Report.
I don't know, because I'm thinking Bleacher Reports just came out. They're not like they're going up against ESPN.
Well, they think they're worth it because that's $9.99 a month if you want that as an
Mm.
add-on to Max. Netflix brought back its basic plan, but with the $2 increase. Disney Plus and Netflix introduced cheaper ad-based tiers, with Amazon set to roll out ads next year. Not surprised. They have a huge ad setup, and you have the option to pay $2.99 to remove the ads. But according to these predictions by Deloitte, this is just the first step. And the top providers offer an average of around 4 pricing tiers, ranging from a cheap ad based one to a premium one, and like 4K or Dolby Vision quality video. Now, I don't know. You all tell me if that really matters to you so much. I don't know if it is a big thing for a lot of people, like the Dolby sound quality or the really super crisp 175K image. But you all tell me, does that matter to you, and would you pay more for it?
Hmm.
I would not pay more for the 4K because it's offered right now with the YouTube package. And it's not okay because you can get YouTube Premium, but you have to pay more if you want 4K, which makes no sense to me.
Wow.
And
And
the interest, go ahead.
most YouTube programming or most YouTube content is not shot in 4K.
Right.
And that's the thing. I'll say this again. I sound like a broken CD, broken record, broken MP3 link. The fact that in order for you to experience true 4K, everything across the board needs to be 4K,
Yep.
meaning it needs to be shot in 4K, it needs to be transmitted in 4K, it needs to be received on the other end in 4K, and you need to have a 4K device to fully get it.
Mm.
Otherwise, it not that it's not, you will see a little bit of a difference. Like, for example, I now have a 4K TV. Is there that much of a difference? Yeah,
Not
kind
if
of.
it's not 4K.
Not if it's not
Not if
4K,
the
it's
stuff.
not a big thing. Listen, and you're talking to me, even though I'm a techie and I love media, you're talking to somebody that only got a new TV because the old bubble back TV I had went into a vortex and it was too expensive to fix.
Yeah, it gave up.
It said not today. I banged it and everything, but because I was gonna run that into the ground. I didn't care. It was standard definition, not even high definition. I didn't care. But I am glad that I do have an updated TV. Believe me. So that's what's happening in terms of predictions. We're going to get more tiers of streaming services. I think as opposed to, I mean, streaming services will always pop up, but I think that we're kind of at our point with big streaming services popping up. Little ones, yes, but big ones, I think we're at the point where we may not see any more for a while. Simply because churn, if I have to sit there and make you stay on through and you're subscribing, it's going to be hard. But we will see more tiers to make what's out there already more palatable, to bring in more eyes and subscribers. So let's take a look at, if anybody gives a damn, the Oscars telecast is going to start earlier than ever next year. And Abbott Elementary, they're going to be the lead into Abbott Elementary. So according to the Hollywood Reporter, the decision to move up the time of the telecast by an hour was driven to ensure that it wraps within prime time hours on the East Coast. So this is what happened. During the Oscars are about 3 hours, right? 3 hours, 3.5 hours, and they're all sitting there patting themselves on the back and congratulating themselves for a job well done, which I agree with. I don't want to see you do that for 3.5 hours, particularly if it starts at 8, because that means it's not going to end till 11. Folks have to work the next day. Okay.
Mhm.
So this is, and what happens is they usually do it because if it starts at 8 here, that means for you all, it starts at 5 and it's telecast. It's not like delayed where we get it first and then you get it later. No, it's all at the same time. So now what's going to happen is it starts 4 Pacific time and 7 Eastern time. So that means, yay, it still ends at 10 o'clock for those people who are really going to pop popcorn and watch, but it is what it is. So, but if you are a movie buff and you're on the East Coast, this may be good for you. This is going to be the
Mhm.
96th Academy Awards broadcast on ABC, and that's going to be Sunday, March 10th. So, I don't know.
Hmm.
Let me know if you're interested in watching it. And again, it's going to be the lead into Abbott Elementary. And I do like Abbott Elementary, but I can skip
Could
the
watch
Oscar.
that later.
Yeah,
Okay,
I can skip that.
does this fall
Anyway.
onto our favorite category of who asked for this?
Yes,
Yeah.
today on Who Asked for This, or
Come on, y'all, really? And
today on
it's not,
Who Gives a Damn.
we can't because Abbott Elementary. I can go watch it on Hulu or DVR it with YouTube TV or something. I can get that later when I want to. This, you're going to try and make me sit down for 3 hours in one spot when you want me to watch it.
Exactly, because nobody is going to watch this on demand. Let's be real. Events like this really work best in real time.
Mhm.
Most people are not going to watch, even though this is pre-recorded, right, and then shown as live. But oh no, it's actually live. Sorry, there are other ones that are pre-recorded, but this is actually live. So whatever. Good
Who
for you,
asked?
Academy. I'm sure people will watch it, but year over year they have been declining. The ratings have been declining because not as many people watch. So, and I don't. They're not trying to do anything different. I am urging
Mhm.
them to do the, and as somebody who has had a fellowship from the Television Academy Foundation, listen, I am urging you to pay attention to what Vogue did the year they did the Met Gala and they had all these influencers there. You need influencer red carpet correspondence. You need to have them doing things. They need to be all over your social channels. It is stodgy. It is old. Nobody gives a damn, and nor do you, because you keep doing the same thing. So at some point, the people who are your diehards die. I'm not trying to be morbid, but they do. So you're not going to have this same audience forever. You need to pull in the new people. If you care about having this continue as a broadcast, you
Mhm.
need to pull in new people, and you really need to beef up the social media end of it. And arguably, they've been doing social media. They've been doing a lot, but they could do much more. I'm going to be watching you this year and see not the actual awards because I don't think I have the wherewithal, but I will watch the TikTok. I will watch the Instagram. I want to see what they put there. And that could be an indication for what they can do better. And if you need help with doing better, guess who you can hire? Terry Johnson Online.
So this is interesting because they could do what I've seen in the sports world do. They don't play the whole golf match all over again. They give you highlights.
Mhm.
And I
Yes.
would tune into the highlights. Just give me the highlights
Yes. I've been
and
saying
get
this
me
for
out.
years. All I care about is the red carpet to see what people are wearing because
Mhm.
I am into fashion.
Right. And they
And
do that the day after. And they do that on the
They
news show.
do. They do.
thank you. Thank you. I am, remember when Fashion Police was on E, I am content with watching Fashion Police and their interpretation, or Fashion Queens when Bevy Smith was on there,
Hmm.
with watching their interpretation of red carpet. If I
Yeah.
need to really see what everybody wore, guess what? E Online or any of those has everything that everybody wore. I am fine. I don't have to watch the entire thing. And I certainly don't have to watch the entire ceremony. That should be an in person ceremony for people that are involved to enjoy themselves. Leave the rest of us out of it. Give us the updates after it.
Yep.
Sheesh. All right, let's talk about the Golden Bachelor. The Golden Bachelor is not going to be a Golden Bachelor for long
Oh,
because, yes, Jerry
What?
Turner and his fiance are going to marry in a
Oh,
wedding ceremony that's going to air live on
on the
ABC.
program,
Really?
I
Yes, so
believe.
they are going to get married. Listen, he's a golden bachelor. He's like, I ain't got time. I need to pick one of you all, and we just need to go ahead and get married. I don't have time for the rubbish. Okay. So I
Mhm.
think we all knew this was going to happen. So they're going to get married on January 4th of next year. And it came during
Mhm.
the emotional live season finale. So Teresa Nist. He got engaged to one of the contestants, Teresa Nist, while they were in Costa Rica, and they announced that they're going to tie the knot January 4th, 2024. The Golden Wedding Special, this is the special now. The
Golden
Golden Wedding
wedding.
Special will air at 8 p.m. on January 4th, and it's going to mark the first televised nuptials for The Bachelor since favorites Sean Lowe and Catherine Guidici exchanged vows in 2014. So Turner, the Golden Bachelor, is 72, and
Mm.
Nist is 70. So they're sending them on a trip to Italy. And the Golden Bachelor replied, we could use that as our honeymoon trip because we're going to get married. We're going to
Oh,
do it as quickly as we can because at our age, see what I said? We don't have a lot of time to waste. Didn't I say that?
well
As
done.
quickly
Mhm.
as we can put together a wedding plan, we are getting married. So the runner up was Leslie Fema, and she tearfully parted ways with Turner in Costa Rica after she sensed that he wasn't really invested in the relationship.
Mm.
That actually led him to share his feelings were stronger for Nist. And FEMA said, I was devastated. I broke down my walls and I fell in love with him so much. I haven't fallen in love with someone in a really long time. So it was hard. And see, I think that's the hard thing about this because, I always say that this franchise is not my favorite because I can't stand unnecessary crying. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess again, it's relative because to you it may be a real problem. For me, it's hashtag first world problems, but whatever. So I can't stand the zooming off in a limousine. I really thought it was. I can't. I can't. But
I never watched it. But I watched a couple of the Golden Bachelors. I didn't finish it. I watched maybe one or two of them.
yeah,
But
yeah. I think I watched one. The Bachelor franchise is just not for me, and The Bachelorette is just not for me anyway. But I think the thing that makes it a little sadder, where I can kind of like, okay, console her a little bit, is because they are older, and it's like at this point when you
You should
are,
know better.
yeah, that's true. You should know. But yeah, so you could say that's what you get for going on a competition show where the odds were what, 12-1 that you were going
You
to
was
be.
gonna get it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
I
need to
don't
go
know.
in there with some thicker skin because you may not make it.
Exactly. But I mean, I don't know if you thought this was your one chance at there are other people, I'm sure, in the damn community in which you live that you could unless you live on the northern tip of Alaska. I don't know. Anyway, but that's what's happening. The Golden Bachelor is getting married. So Jerry Turner and Teresa Nist are got engaged and they will be getting married January 4th. Good for them.
That's
yeah,
All right. Did you all hear? I'm sure you all have heard about Hall and Oates. They were one of my favorite groups. I really like their music.
yeah.
Well,
I heard something about a lawsuit.
lawsuit. Daryl Hall is suing John Oates
Come on,
because
y'all.
yeah, no, I know. I'm like,
That's
listen,
what everybody said. Come on, you guys.
I can't go for that. Okay, I need you all to, I need you all to work it out. No can do.
Woo.
So I'm like, you were like the soundtrack of when I was little. Because when we were like, if you're little in the 80s, you're listening to grown people's music. There's like
Yep.
no other choice.
Yep.
Yep.
So, um, there it feels like you can't work it out. And you know, as recent as, when was it, they were getting ready to work on something else, but then this blocked it. So what Daryl Hall, sorry, John Oates was getting ready to sell his potential share of Holland Oates Jewels, of the Holland Oates joint venture, excuse me, without asking Daryl Hall for permission. So John Oates was getting ready to sell that. And, you know, I'm sure this struck a nerve because I read I don't know if it was in Rolling Stone or whatever, but I read an interview where he like regrets selling a lot of his catalog, right?
Mm.
When you're young and, you know, the music industry is fast, you think, okay, that's a good price. But then, do you know how often Hall and Oates songs are used?
A lot.
Yeah, exactly. That could all be going to you. Now, it's one thing if you decide to sell it when, like a few years ago, Neil Diamond sold his, but at this point, you know, he's already made a lot of money off of it.
Mm.
So maybe he's not as concerned. But again, here we go with building generational wealth, which people in entertainment are not good at doing. And so if you want to continue that generational wealth, own your masters, own the music, and that's what you carry on down from generation to generation so that they can continue to profit off of that, right? But again, often artists are not the best business people, and that's what happens. So a judge actually sided with Daryl Hall yesterday in his request to keep John Oates from selling his potential share, or his profitable share of the venture. So this includes Hall and Oates trademarks, personal name and likeness rights, record royalty income, and website and social media assets, according to
Mhm.
a court declaration by Hall. And he called Oates's planned sale the quote ultimate partnership betrayal.
Mm.
It
You
seems
know,
to me that he could have said, "Why don't you sell it to me and let me buy it?"
He could have, but maybe he didn't want to do that. Or maybe he wasn't even given the opportunity to do that.
Right.
So he said, the legal team, part of the legal team, Christine LaPera, said you cannot sell half of a partnership to a third party without the other party's consent. That's
Correct.
just intuitively correct, right?
Right.
All right, so this will be interesting to see what happens. For now, that sale is blocked, but like you said, absolutely, Francine, I that could have happened, but it could be that John Oates just didn't say anything and went to sell to, I can't remember the name of the record company that was going to buy it, and then he found out, he's, oh hell no.
And the record company was shady anyway. They knew that shouldn't happen.
You know good and damn well. Come on. You know very well that you should not have done this. Absolutely. All right. So I'm just going to give you one more story. And then we shall, two more stories and we shall vamoose. Let's talk about Peacock, shall we? Peacock has an interesting promotion going on. They're offering luxury dry cleaning services to VIPs to promote their new Monk movie.
Oh, okay. I
Yes.
saw the Monk commercial, but I didn't know anything about. I don't understand how dry cleaning comes into this, but okay.
But wait, there's more. So they're to pump the return of Tony Shalhoub as Monk, who's a germaphobe detective,
Mhm.
in case you didn't know. It's the movie is going to be Mr. Monk's Last Case, a Monk movie. The streamers marketing gurus came up with a plan to offer influencers and press a luxury dry cleaning experience. So yeah, it's interesting. So they are offering this luxury dry cleaning experience. They found a concierge service to pick up 5 business casual items to be dry cleaned and delivered back to the original address, a budget friendly invite because considering the cost of dry cleaning. So they partnered with Civic Entertainment Group on producing and publicizing the campaign. for this. Now, I think the reason they're doing this is because, again, the whole germaphobe thing. So, but instead of just passing out tubes of hand sanitizer, I'm guessing, okay, well, let's do dry cleaning. So,
Okay, I have a comment.
yeah.
I think they're doing it because they're just flipping lazy. This morning, there was a interview with the guy who did Frasier.
Mhm.
Mm.
How old is he? 100 years old? Young. They're going to bring him back, and I think he's going to be living with his grandson or some crap.
Yeah.
My thing is, get some new material, people.
Well,
Stop reworking these characters because it's easy to do. Stop
right,
milking the same cow. The cow is flipping old. Give us some new beef.
because they don't have any new creativity.
Exactly. They stop being lazy. Stop going for, the low hanging fruit. Give us some new characters, some new.
Is
It's
isn't it
stop it.
interest? Isn't it interesting that the sequel to almost everything is not good? The
Well,
second go around is not as good as the first.
love is not necessarily lovelier the second time around. Okay,
The thing is too, the reason this keeps happening is
why?
not because they are risk adverse. Hollywood is risk adverse. So here's the thing: Monk did well for them before. Yes,
Exactly.
Frasier did insanely well for
Mhm.
NBC before. So they
Yeah.
go with tried and true because we know we made money before. We know there are still fans. We know fans were asking about resolution or bringing this back or reviving the series. So now is the time. There are way more creative people that have greater
Thank you.
ideas than these two
And we
reboots.
can't break
But
through. They can't break through for this foolishness.
N- well, I'm not going. If I'm Hollywood, this is what I'm just saying from this standpoint. I'm not going to spend money on you because I've never heard of you. You don't have ties in Hollywood. I don't know
Mhm.
who you are. Yeah, you have a couple of things, but I don't know that this audience will buy it. And then on top of it, look at all the executives who make all the decisions. Look at and there's nothing wrong with age, but the thing is they cannot identify with some of these people. In some cases are almost 80 years old, and that doesn't mean that you don't know good stuff or can't identify, but it just means also that you have not relinquished power to let
Okay.
younger people come in and give ideas. You just, oh, this is best for the network. Who says? Did you ask anybody? And that's another thing, they never really ask anyone when they do these test screenings. Well, who did you bring in? Your daughter's friend. Where are you getting these people from? So it's inherently flawed and biased, on the surface and beneath the surface. So that's why we keep seeing the same things over and over. In short, Hollywood is risk adverse. They're only interested in making money, not necessarily giving new people a chance. They'll give new people a chance if it means that they're out of everything else and this fresh idea seems like so great. But then what do? They bring in same old people. Oh, we're going to have this person directed, this person directed. So it takes on the same characteristics of
Same
everything else that's
flavor.
there because you have old people involved in the process. So I don't know. I don't care if it's a new writer that you have that has this great idea. If you still bring in old school directors, old school producers, it ends up being the same old school stuff we're used to seeing. So it needs to be
Exactly.
changed. There needs to be change across the board. And
Well,
Hollywood does not like too much change,
can we
if
get
any at
a
all.
break? I mean, it's just ridiculous. I just feel like after this morning talking about Frasier, now we're talking about Monk. Come on.
Yeah,
Who's
right.
next? Laverne and Shirley? I'm just done, people.
I don't need to see Laverne and Shirley
Okay, I don't need to
again.
see Monk. And I liked him. I
No,
mean, but come on.
exactly. I don't need
Well,
to see
he's
a
just doing a
germaphobe.
movie. He ain't doing a whole series.
Right.
Until the
It's
movie
just a
comes.
movie, but I think, but it's just in time for the holidays. It comes on Peacock on December 8th if you are
Okay.
interested in that. But you know what? We say it's just a movie, but then mark my words, they're going to turn around and it's going to be Monk to Electric Boogaloo. Okay.
Exactly.
That's exactly what's going to happen. So,
Mm. Okay, we're done. I'm done with my little rant, but I just say,
No, but
well,
thank you for the rant. And I have one last story. This is quite interesting. For those of you who are into McDonald's and the hamburgers,
mm,
you're going to be ecstatic that there is a burger makeover coming to there. So get ready for a whole bunch of different changes. They're making an overhaul as to how they're going to be cooking the burgers, including Big Macs, to improve upon a years long shortcoming that the company says made for unhappy meals, according to the Wall Street Journal. So they're doing this in tandem with a spring ad campaign promising that they're going to have the best burgers ever. They're going to make the bunned delights, as they say, much more juicy with over 50 modifications. Well, if you can make 50 modifications, that means you weren't doing them very well to begin with. What were
okay.
you?
Okay. Are you going to use meat?
Number one, we will use meat.
No, real meat. The real meat,
Real meat.
not grown on barley stems. The other thing is, I heard this morning they're going to do an adult Happy Meal with retro toys in there. Is that real?
Shut up.
You know what? I didn't see that, but I could see. I
They're
can see
going to do
that.
an adult Happy Meal.
But you know what? That would work for people that are nostalgic. Remember, when all of us were young, it McDonald's was not a staple. It was a
Mm-mm.
treat. So that was a every once in a while thing that you. And if you got a Happy Meal, and you could
Boy,
always tell who the rich kids were that had a birthday party at McDonald's. That was expensive, but yeah. So um, they this is super interesting. So let me give you what they're going to some of the changes. 6
Mhm.
patties will be grilled at a time instead of 8 for the auto cooking mechanism to apply less pressure and retain more burger patty juices. The Big Macs will get more sauce. They're going to be using brioche buns with a thicker bottom instead of those traditional sesame seed buns and the buns without. Sesame seed buns will be more randomly scattered on buns to give a homier look. Cheese will be taken out of refrigerators sooner so that it melts more during cooking. Onions will be rehydrated after purchase for more juiciness. What? Lettuce and pickles will be stored in smaller containers so that they must be refreshed more often. Yeah. Okay.
why would you tell us this and just not do it?
That's what I'm saying. That is exactly a great point. You know how they say I can show you better than I can tell you. You're telling me this, and it's like, well, shouldn't you have been doing all that you can to? And no, you know why? Because again, it's low hanging fruit. People will, when all else fails, they will go to McDonald's. They may complain, but people are still going there. They serve billions every day, but they are hearing the complaints about dry burgers, etc. So they're trying to do things to retain more whatever. Oh, so we've got adult Happy Meals. There we go. So that's what I have for you. So we could go to the adult Happy Meals.
No, that ain't
Mhm.
much. Oh, is
That's
that Ronald? Who is that?
I don't know. See how big the
Some
box
random.
is, and then
Is that
down here
wait? Okay, I'm like,
are,
is that hamburger
Wait,
or
who
something?
are these hip
here are
hop
the toys.
nuggets?
These are the adults' toys. The
The
nuggets.
new McNuggets buddies. I'm sorry.
Here he is.
No.
Yes.
Okay, this is who asked for this.
Uptown Mo. You got Uptown Mo. You got Wafutu.
Wafutu.
Okay. Okay. You got
Who
Barik,
asked? Nobody asked for this.
and you got Darla. Okay.
Uh,
Oh, oh,
See,
oh,
the thing
all right,
is,
Don
if
Bernice. Is this the guy from Soul Train? What is this?
Don Bernice,
Ah,
Oh my gosh,
okay.
they got dreamer of the group. They got personalities for these people.
But
Right.
these are not even toys that, okay, it's one thing if you make it nostalgic, like, okay, a Happy Meal, getting your meal in a box, that's nostalgic. But the biggest thing about the Happy Meal were the toys. So you're coming up with things that adults don't even know. Nobody knows these have baked chicken
But
nuggets.
they are collectible.
We don't care.
Well, you
Who
don't
wants to
care
collect
because
these?
you
But
probably are not
no,
going to be getting a Happy Meal.
look, even if I did, why would I? Okay.
I'm just saying.
We're
Let me
not the
stop.
intended audience. Let's just say
Okay,
Yeah,
that's it.
obviously.
Okay. No. This is
Okay.
great.
so. I'm
Okay.
good. That's what I had for you today.
Well, once again, we thank you, Dr. Tachi and TJ, for bringing us this information. We just want to say thank you for being a part of the BizChicks audience, all of those who are watching live and on the replay. We trust that you're going to get something useful out of the information presented here today that you can apply and so that you can take the hassle out of your hustle and so that you can build a profitable business that's fun to run. And we look forward to seeing you next time. You can become a part of the BizChicks community by texting biz to 33777 or going to bizchicks.net. Okay. And that is all we have for you today. We'll be back on Monday, which will be first Monday with the BizChicks. And look for your email if you're part of the community, and you'll get an announcement as to what's going to happen in our in-person meetup. Thank you. I was like, what am I doing?
And we want to encourage you to watch and listen to Dr. Tachi on Indie Soup and to follow Terry Johnson online everywhere.
Right.
Thank you, ladies, for your contribution.
And we will see you next week. Thank you, Christy. Looking good to see you again.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.